parties. They allege that Morero has failed to improve service delivery and has not adequately consulted coalition partners before making key decisions. Last year, Morero survived a DA-sponsored no-confidence vote, while another Al-Jamar motion was withdrawn just before voting. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
There is growing pressure, including from within the ANC, for Tata Morero to step down as the mayor of Johannesburg. This follows the fact that Morero is no longer the party's leader in the city, with some ANC factions calling for his successor, Loyiso Masuku, to take over the mayoral position. On Tuesday, the multi-party coalition met, during which most parties called on the ANC to recall Morero from office. In addition, the ANC's Gauteng and national leadership have begun discussions to determine whether he should be recalled. However, with the local government elections approaching, there are concerns that a shift in leadership could set the party back. Morero's motion of no confidence is set to be debated in the City Council today. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
Police have confirmed they are investigating allegations of procurement irregularities involving Johannesburg Social Housing Company acting CEO Themba Matibe. Matibe was arrested at his Morningside home on Monday evening during an operation conducted by the police's Special Task Force as well as Cold Case Unit. A substantial amount of cash was allegedly found in his possession at the time of his arrest. He appeared in the Alexandra Magistrates Court yesterday, where he faced money laundering charges. Police spokesperson Athlenda Mate.
Following an extensive investigation into allegations of procurement irregularities at the Johannesburg Social Housing Company, the SAPS Cold Case Unit and Special Task Force effected an arrest on a charge of money laundering after the CEO was found with a substantial amount of money at his home. Investigations continue and the possibility of effecting further arrests cannot be ruled out at this stage.
The Road Accident Fund has been described to Parliament as an institution riddled with collusion and malfeasance. Yesterday, the fund's former Deputy Board Chairperson, Nomonde Mabuya Mulwele, told the Standing Committee on Public Accounts that it was not the board's job to get involved in employee matters. She was responding to questions from MPs on allegations made by some employees that former CEO Collins Letswalo was a bully who terrorized them. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
The 4 former board members who appeared before Parliament's inquiry into the Road Accident Fund were peppered with questions about mass suspensions and terminations at the organisation under the leadership of the former CEO. Board member Nomonde Mabuya Mulele said the board only raised concerns about the money spent on disciplinary matters and the length of time that they took. She said the board used employee surveys to test the mood within the organisation.
The surveys were a good dipstick to give us a sense of the pulse of the organisation.
She also testified that the organisation needed a firm leader, but said she could not verify witness testimony that CEO Collins Letswalo had been abusive towards staff.
RAF is an organisation full of collusion, malfeasance, people, doing all sorts of things.
However, Mabuya Mulele said the organization's employee relations managers were not up to the task of handling disciplinary matters. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And 3 people have been arrested on suspicion of involvement in an armed attack at a football game in central Mexico. 11 people were killed in the attack on Sunday. 5 of the victims were security guards at the football pitch, all of whom were unarmed. A preliminary investigation shows the guards were targeted because they had worked for a company linked to the powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel. The suspected attackers are believed to be part of the Santa Rosa de Lima cartel, which is involved in a dispute with CJNG. Gold is trading at $5,371.04 an ounce. The rand is at 15.69 to the dollar, 21.82 to the pound, 18.71 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.09 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 South between the Baku interchange and Corlet Drive. There's also queuing traffic along several roads within the Sandton CBD. The routes that are heavily backed up include Greyston Drive, Marlborough Drive, South Road, as well as Rivonia Road. Please be patient.
A partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng with scattered showers expected. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 27 and 30 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The Tshwane municipality has received a qualified audit opinion with findings. It comes as the metro's unauthorized expenditure climbs to over 5 billion rand.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Your brain's a well-oiled machine. Now put it to work in the brain of 702. Enter on primemediaplus.com. T's and C's apply.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Hey Tara, Dumelang, welcome to the show. It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for being with us here on 702 once again. If it's your first time listening to us, welcome, bienvenue. Our show starts with the 702 open line on 011-883-0702. You can send your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. Are you not shocked about the KZN Hawks boss, Lesitja Sinona, and what he has been saying at the Madlanga Commission? This is a senior cop. The head of the Hawks in KwaZulu-Natal, his relationship with Ket Matlala, who faces quite serious criminal charges, has been laid bare. He says Ket Matlala is like a brother to him. His son even has a business with Ket Matlala. He has tried to lie and say that as soon as Ket Matlala was accused of being linked to the Babita Deokaran's murder, and as soon as reports started about Ket Matlala's SAPS contract and irregularities, he started distancing himself from Matlala. But did he? He didn't. He lied. Because even after all these disturbing reports about Ket Matlala, he continued to have a relationship with him and attend meetings with him and send him even the most sensitive information. And he's really been struggling to justify some of the things he sent Ket Matlala and some of the things that Ket Matlala sent him, including a document with seemingly the president's ID numbers. And if these are the kind of cops we have at the helm, we're truly in trouble, my friend. How do this person's subordinates even respect him after all that has been revealed so far? Listen to some of what happened at the commission yesterday.
So you'll see this is a document that's marked strictly confidential at the top, and it says confidential information concerning the identity of the president, and then it has information relating to President Ramaphosa. You see that?
I see the document, commissioners.
So why did he send this to you?
I also do not know, and if he sent it to me, I didn't open. If he sent it to me, I didn't open it. You know, these documents, when I look at them now, because it's now that I see the contents, I would have reported this to my principal.
So you would have reported this to your principal?
Yes, because it is unusual that a private person can have these documents. So I didn't open them. I didn't know what was inside. But if I knew, commissioners, definitely I would have written an information note to my supervisor, informing him about this, what I've just discovered with a person of so-and-so, Mr. Matlala.
So you're saying that, again, you're saying in the meeting where he sends you simultaneously these documents, He doesn't say anything to you about what he's sending to you. You have no discussion about it.
That's correct.
In the course of the meeting, and you have no discussion about it after the meeting either.
That's correct, Commissioners. I didn't read it. If I read it, the communication after that was going to be there about it, but I was going to write an information note to my supervisor in order for action to be taken, what needs to be taken. Investigation.
Sorry, Ms. Hassim. There are actually two things that arise from this, and one is what Ms. Hassim has referred to, which is he did not tell you what this was. The second thing is, did he tell you anything at all with regard to sending these documents? This is actually a question that my colleague, Commissioner Baloy, asked. But I just want clarity on it, and to say we just must be clear what you say about these two things. You've responded to the one that Ms. Hassim is raising. But I want to know, did Mr. Mathala say to you, my brother, I am now sending you something? Did he say that at all, as you were sitting there?
No, Commissioner.
So you are sitting there, you are at a meeting, you are discussing whatever it is you are discussing, so he silently just sends you these documents, these three documents, and he's completely mum about them.
Commissioners, he will be the one who will answer why did he send it to me. It is an unfortunate, I never happened to open and read this document.
No, please, I'm not asking you about opening. I'm asking you now about the two of you sitting together, having a discussion at a meeting, and he sends you this. He's silent, completely silent. He does not even say, please have a look, I've just sent you something, or I've sent you something, please have a look when you find time. Nothing like that. He sends them, he's silent about them.
Hi. He is struggling. He's struggling to justify. I mean, he sent some information that is sensitive to Ket Matlala. I mean, listen to this. Let me play you a last clip.
Did you consider it appropriate to share with a private citizen such as Mr. Matlala a document that shows that Mr. Nangi and Mr. Brights have lodged complaints against members of the SAPS? I won't mention their names, but you see them on page 66. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Do you consider it appropriate to share with Mr. Matlala a document that shows that Nangi and Brights have lodged complaints against members of the SAPS? What does that have to do with Mr. Matlala?
When I read the statement of Mr. Nangi, I saw that he is residing in midstream, Centurion. That area, that midstream security complex, Mr. Matlala is also residing there. I sent it based on the statement that this gentleman is staying there and he has committed kidnapping where they have demanded a ransom of 35 million. And then the case was withdrawn. I didn't even say the case was withdrawn against them or what, but the
SAPS officers to Mr. Matlala, because that has got nothing to do with Mr. Matlala.
I hear you, Commissioner.
So it was wrong to do that.
Here's my question. And I've asked this question many times last day. Why is this man still in office? Why hasn't he put on precautionary suspension? The Madlanga Commission has the power to recommend suspensions, and I'm not sure if they have used that power or why they are failing to use that power. I mean, kudos to Ekurhuleni for taking the decision to suspend Julius Mkhwanazi and even their head of legal, Advocate Kemi Bahari. But that was the city of Ekurhuleni deciding to act on those suspensions, unless the commission recommended that secretly and we don't know. But the commission must be transparent about that. So if the city acted on their recommendation, that the commission would have probably said so. So why is the commission not recommending suspensions for some of these embarrassing cops? I mean, the weighted evidence against Sinona is so powerful. He has clearly conducted himself improperly. His conduct has been questionable and could even border on criminality. And we must be comfortable with him staying in office. I think it's unwise for the SAPS to keep people like this man in his position, given that the public see them as posing a serious threat, not only to the credibility of the institutions they work for, but you could argue to public safety too. When the president established this commission, he said, the commission will make findings on criminal prosecutions or institutional reforms, and where appropriate, they must make recommendations on the employment status of such officials, whether they should be suspended pending the outcome of investigation. Is the Madlanga Commission then waiting to make those recommendations at the end? And how much damage would have been done by then? What do you think? What do you think should be the approach of the SAPS or the Commission to these chaps, whom we can see clearly their improper behavior? 011-883-0702. Also, are you disappointed that you won't be able to watch Melania? Ne? Her name is Melania Trump. Yeah, Melania Trump's movie. Are you disappointed that you won't be able to watch the film in cinema? Did you even know about it? Because the South African distributors, Film Affinity and cinema chains New Metro and Ster-Kinekor, have abruptly pulled the film from cinemas ahead of its release tomorrow, citing the, quote, current climate. So this movie centers on the United States First Lady, Melania, and her 20 days in the lead up to her husband's second inauguration last year, and how she serves as an advisor, and I say that in inverted commas, to President Trump. It also centers on her fashion choices. Anyway, the film has now been pulled off, so you can't watch it in cinema. And either the US or the producers made the call, or these local distributors realized that it's going to be a flop, that not so many people are going to come out to watch it for a variety of reasons. Honestly, I didn't really care about the film at all. I saw the trailer and I thought, interesting, but I'm not going to leave my house to go watch Melania Trump's first 20 days ahead of her husband's inauguration. Nah. Were you looking forward to watching it? Did you even know about the film? Let me know. At 10 o'clock, we're going to do the Hanging Out feature. Today I'm hanging out with music executive and broadcaster Randall Abrahams. His career has spanned over 3 decades in radio, in television, in music, digital business leadership. Many of you remember him from Idols as that mean and brutally honest judge on Idols. That's what a lot of people called him. And I mean, as that, people thought he was so brutally honest. But his honest critiques have actually helped shape aspiring artists and drove countless conversations about talent, about craft and industry standards. But he's a legend. I mean, he has helped launch YFM. At some point, he was the general manager of commercial radio at the SABC, overseeing flagship stations like 5FM, Metro FM, Good Hope, you name it. He was managing director of Universal Music. At some point, he was also my boss as the chief executive officer of Prime Media Broadcasting. And he's done many other things. So we're going to get to know him better between 10 and 11 o'clock. At 11, we're going to do our Thursday dialogue. Today, we're discussing how to make learner transport safer. Are we stuck in a cycle of reactions? So I'm going to bring in the Department of Transport, bring in the Gauteng Education Transport Services, and the National School of Governing Bodies. What reforms are necessary? What can government do? What can these scholar transport organizations do? And what can the schools and the parents also do? That's a conversation we're going to have at 11 o'clock. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Morning, Clement. He's obviously lying. I mean, there's just really no excuse for having a person of his leadership on top there. He's lying, he's compromised, and he's trying to backtrack. Let the guy go. This is an offense. I mean, even at the president's level, at the president level, you should be calling for this person to be removed from his job. It cannot. He's already compromised. How is he going to continue serving this country? He's already compromised.
Exactly. Can you imagine, like, serious Hawks officers who only care about their work? How do they even take this man seriously? And they must still report to this man who has clearly been so severely compromised. Is the president at least calling, asking for the SAPS to look into these matters? I mean, he doesn't have to interfere and tell them what to do, but where's the National Police Commissioner? I mean, he was quick to suspend Shadrack Sibiya. Right? Whether it's because of what has come out so far already in the public domain or because of what Shadrack Sibiya has done, which is wrong, around the dockets. But where is the National Police Commissioner? And why must he be put under pressure to do something so easy? Precautionary suspension. You can see the behavior of this man has completely inappropriate. And maybe for the National Commissioner, he will look at other officers, because there are other officers, even in Gauteng, who have been compromised. I mean, who's responsible for the Hawks head? Is it still the National Commissioner, or because that's a separate sort of entity, but that is still directly within the SAPS? Or is it the president? The point I'm making is whoever the Hawks head reports to surely has got to see that something is wrong here. Something is completely wrong here, and we cannot keep on having these people in office because they are so compromised. And what more damage are they going to cause the longer they stay?
Morning, Clement and the team town from Cape Town. I think as a country we are in danger because I listened to Madlanga Commission for the past 2 days, and I listened to the Hawks head, this powerful guy who's supposed to protect us, all of us. But he doesn't seem to have boundaries to understand that he can't just be hanging around with anyone and with no consequences in it. And it's the same thing that our politicians also do. When their friends are in trouble with the law, they always say, well, I didn't know. Well, I'm just a citizen of this country. So it's almost like that gives them a leeway of saying, you don't have a responsibility, which they have like the utmost responsibility out of everyone else in this country, because they're supposed to protect us and make sure that we're all safe as a country. So if our officials and the Hawks head don't seem to understand that position, they can't just be acting like a normal citizen of the country. That's wrong.
Yeah. Willie, you calling from Pretoria. Good morning.
Morning, Clement.
Hey, sir.
You know what? All those people who were opposing this idea of having this commission, Cyril was going to fire the minister. Oh, and then all these things that have been revealed now, we are not going to know about them. So it was good this commission was instituted. So I think we still have more to hear from other dodgy characters. But now it is time for Cyril to take the lead correctly. Fire all these rogue units. Thanks, Willie Pretoria.
Thank you, Willie. Rakwena, you're in Pretoria North. Hi.
Hi, Clement, how are you?
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, this problem is just the tip of the iceberg. If I can tell you now, the problem started when the SAPS changed the ranking system there, starting to call themselves generals and whatever they call them. And in a very short space of time, the unit is sitting with a lot of generals who are literally, most of them unqualified because of the recruitment system that they use there. And the very same thing escalate into the SANDF, where the army's numbers are around 80,000 and you have over 400 generals there as well. Now, if you could go through all these people, because it's a connection of corruption and political connections, you are going to find that they are not really capable, most of them. It's just like Mkwanazi, the Julius Mkwanazi, who didn't even know what SWAT stands for. So we have got a problem here. I think what needs to happen is to have a complete overhaul of the South African police service and the army and change these titles that we have in the police force. You can't be having generals in the army and in the police as well. And lastly, that I want to raise is this issue of the Iranian, Navy exercise. I mean, Ramaphosa is supposed to be the commander-in-chief. In many countries, if something like that happens, the minister is fired immediately, and all those who fall under the minister's seniors are fired. But here we are now, establishing now a board that's going to investigate that with a lot of retired judges there and other staff members there, running into millions. Obviously, it will go into millions. Now, you see, the whole thing is a problem, just like even our cabinet here, which is the third biggest in the world and even bigger than what the USA has. So we have got serious problems here. You know, these piecemeal solutions where you want to focus on one small thing, it doesn't really make a difference because almost the whole system is rotten. So I really don't know. I'm confused. But this Sinona, he's got to either resign by himself and Kunu, they both must resign by themselves because they are finished. There's nothing left there. You know, if they were really honest to themselves and trying to save the nation problems, they don't deserve to be in the. I mean, where did you find a police senior head who doesn't read newspapers? Who will tell you that no, I could not afford to pay for News 24, when we know very well that government departments through GCIS and so on, they've got media monitoring.
But just the other day, you were saying that Ket Matlala, their relationship is they send each other news articles.
Yeah, you understand, and that shouldn't happen because GCIS job is to collate all the information that is of interest to government departments and send it out every morning and so on.
Yeah, but I mean, if he says that, yeah, we just used to send each other articles and stuff. Okay, what about the sensitive information that you guys have been sending each other? He's just trying to come up with all sorts of justifications that don't make sense. Sesh, who's this? Poke on the WhatsApp line says, Clement Sinona on Twitter says, Clement Sinona complained that they intimidated him by sending him a note that he must say why he can't be transferred. He said, why did they send him that note just before he appeared before the commission? So they are taking action. So also, transferring someone is not action. And unfortunately, that's why our public system has aspects of it that are so rotten. Because there are certain people that no action has not been taken against them. They've just been transferred to other departments. That happens a lot. Someone does something wrong, let's just move them somewhere else. Why is that action? Why are we okay with that action? And then you as a taxpayer, you are busy paying 41% of your salary to this government so that they can go pay the salary of that person who probably does nothing. Nothing. Remember even with General Mkhwanazi, it happened when there was a point when he did nothing for about a year. Because that's how government thinks. Some sections of government think, that's a way we're going to frustrate people. It's ridiculous. And we seem to be okay with it. It happens. The social development minister, remember last year we spoke about that 22-year-old lady who was her chief of staff, who doesn't even qualify, doesn't have the right qualifications, doesn't even have the right experience. She was suspended for about 6 months with full pay. And then she resigns later on. Who takes accountability for that? We just move on. You and I as taxpayers have just spent 1.4 million rand annually paying this woman who doesn't have the right qualifications, who doesn't have the experience. And then you suspend her and pay her while she's suspended, and then she resigns and all of us have to move on. That's what irritates me. You know, every time I look at the tax I pay, I get irritated because I don't think that our monies are being used properly by this government. And if they were using their own monies, I'm sure they would be thinking differently about the decisions they make. It's crazy. Now they want to transfer Sinona from KZN to where? And then they're going to pay him until what? He retires? In our taxpayers' money? 9:31. Hi, Mbali. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. A very good morning. We begin with news just in from KZN. The death toll from a crash in the south of Durban this morning has now risen to 11. A truck and a minibus taxi collided on the R102 in the Lotus Park area. Emergency service personnel are still on that scene. Alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Matlala is expected to make his first appearance in the Johannesburg High Court today for pre-trial proceedings. Matlala, his wife Tsakane, and 3 others will appear on attempted murder charges linked to an alleged hit on his socialite ex-girlfriend Tebogo Tobojane. But he also faces 24 other charges, 11 of which are also attempted murder. Matlala has featured prominently in allegations of corruption at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. And the Tshwane municipality has received a qualified audit opinion with findings. This comes as the metro's unauthorized, irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure climbs to over 5 billion rand. A qualified audit opinion means there are misstatements in the entity's financial documents. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Travelling in the east of Joburg, we've got an accident reported on the R24 West. It's right near the N12 merge. It's causing delays coming out of the Edenville Road exit towards the Gludi's interchange. Do expect about a 20-minute hold up there. So if you're heading towards areas like East Rand Mall, it could take you about 30 minutes, just your estimated time of arrival there. And then, of course, if you're travelling on the Mike 1 South, we still have that queuing traffic that says between Grayston Drive and Collett Drive. In fact, it's a stop-and-go situation due to roadworks along the route. And it is raining in some parts of Joburg, so if you are traveling along the roads this morning, please drive with care, keep a safe following distance and approach with care. And then if you're traveling in the Devland area, we've got an accident on the N1 North. It happened near the Golden Highway. Delays from the N12 exit. There's also queuing traffic on the Golden Highway between Union Avenue and the N1 exit as a result. More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Are you previewing a holding of the repo rate as is at the moment, or are we likely to see a 25 basis point rate cut this afternoon, do you think?
I think it's going to be a very tight call, but I do think that the majority of the members will vote for a rate cut later this afternoon. Hopefully we see some welcome news, 25 basis point decline. It's not guaranteed, as is any monetary policy decision, but I do think there's scope for them to cut this time around.
Lisette Isel de Skeper is a senior economist at the Bureau for Economic Research.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
If you are still thinking about one more trip before the calendar fills up, this is your sign. Fly Lift from Johannesburg to Durban from just 595 Rand. Complimentary snacks, drinks, and the kind of flexibility that makes travel feel easy. So whether it's a quick reset, a weekend away, or a last summer escape, catch a lift. Book now at lift.co.za. That's from 595 Rand. T's and C's apply.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
This message is brought to you by Eskom, redefining for a better future.
Hey South Africa, want to keep your lights on and save money? Let's use electricity wisely. It's easier than you think. Switch off lights when you leave a room, unplug chargers and appliances, and use energy-saving bulbs. They last longer and use less power. Every little bit helps. For your home, your wallet, and our planet.
Let's make it a habit and use electricity wisely. Eskom.
Life keeps getting busier. Parenting, shopping, working, exercising, just surviving. With all of that, who has time for anything else? That's why Netcare introduces Netcare AppointMed. Just tell us what you need, a specialist, GP or dentist, and we'll search our nationwide network of 5,000 doctors and find an appointment with a doctor who best suits your needs and medical aid. That's Netcare AppointMed on the Netcare app.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Could this be the year when our economy starts to really feel the impact of improved Transnet logistics and improved railway system?
The solution for the general freight business of Transnet and the freight that should be on rail, and our two major corridors, especially the Cape Town corridor and the Natal corridor, I'm not seeing that yet. I'm not seeing improvement. I'm not seeing improvement in numbers. We know what needs to be done, but it's much more complex.
Professor Jan Havenegras, Professor of Logistics.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB. That's how we're invested in your story. Your story matters. ABSA is a registered FSP.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
23 minutes before 10 o'clock. This is the 702 open line. And we're taking your calls on 011-883-0702. I've been asking you about Sinona and why he is still in the job. Why is the commission not recommending that he be suspended while investigations continue? Where is the Minister of Police? Like, why are you watching all of this and you are comfortable with the person going back to his office tomorrow? That's just so bizarre for me. Where's the National Police Commissioner? What action are they taking against some SAPS members whose behavior has been revealed to be quite reckless, to border on criminality, to be so improper? What are they doing about it? Like, does the president not get shocked when he watches this? And when he gets shocked, which he usually does, what does he do about it? And here's a question, actually, I want to ask you, because I spoke about tax earlier. If I were to ask you right now a yes or no question, are you a happy taxpayer? I'm not, and I'm being very honest with you. I am not a happy taxpayer in this country, and not because I don't think that the money can go, or some of it goes to good deeds. I mean, there's public infrastructure. There are people that are not able to take care of themselves that we take care of as taxpayers. I'm okay with that. But I'm unhappy about how some of this money, if not most of it, is being used by our government leaders. I'm not. And I've traveled to other countries. Like, when I was in Finland last year, their tax compliance is up the roof. Why? Because citizens in Finland can see where their money is going to. So they don't force people to pay tax. Literally, people are happy taxpayers. That's it. And over the last couple of years, the Revenue Service has made positive strides in its efforts to modernize and assure better voluntary tax compliance and make it more difficult and expensive for South Africans to escape the taxman. But where are we with tax morality? What influences business and people's willingness to pay their taxes? What influences you? What influences you to pay your taxes, to be happy? I was reading up on some data sometime last year from public perception surveys, which confirmed that the trust in government is a key component that influences tax morale. And I doubt we have a society that has an incredible trust in government, given the levels of corruption. Like, you work for government, it's like, that's why the tax bill is so high. They don't care. Just transfer that person. Oh, but he's done something so wrong. He's behaved improperly. No, just move him from KZN, moving to somewhere in Joburg. He's going to sit there, do nothing because we're going to frustrate him. And then he's just going to retire when he turns 60. Are you a happy taxpayer? I am not. I really am not a happy taxpayer. I'm not happy when I see the levels of corruption. I'm not happy when I see people who get suspended and they're at home for 5 years. 5 bloody years. And my money is paying them. And some of them are on suspension, not because they've done something wrong, but because a minister hates them, or they're fighting with the DG, or the person was trying to stop corruption, therefore let them stay at home. They have no regard for the compromises we are making as taxpayers. And they must talk to us about tax morality. What about government itself? Because a lot of our behavior and approach towards tax, a lot of that approach comes from how government uses the money. And maybe that's where they need to start fixing. I've also asked you about Melania Trump's film. Did you know about it? Were you going to watch it, or are you not bothered?
Morning, Clement. This is Walter from Cape Town. Up until now, I didn't even know there was such a film coming out or that was in production. And to be honest with you, I'm very happy that they've pulled it out. It means nothing to us. We lose nothing. It's good riddance. Kudos to whoever decided to pull it out. We don't need that at the moment here in South Africa. Thank you. Great show.
Yeah, I mean, it can stay. People can watch it there in the US and everywhere else. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I really didn't care. But I'm sure there are some people who like Melania and would have loved to see her first 20 days ahead of inauguration. Who knows? Maybe it will make itself available on other platforms at some point.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Clement and the team. You know, it really bothers me, actually. It's upsetting that I work so hard, in traffic all the time, triggered, and just to find out all these news that our money is being recklessly taken and stolen and nothing is being done about it. There's a call of yours that always, mentions maybe we should actually stop paying tax. I think we really need to unite ASAP and do something about this, because clearly the people in the high powers don't care. They don't give a damn.
Morning 702, this is Kamo here from Johannesburg. You know, I love how these criminals, I know you're going to say they are alleged criminals, but they are criminals. I don't need to prove you guilty at a court of law to know that you're a criminal. Lots of people are criminals, but they're not convicted. But we know they're criminals. They stay with us in our community. So this guy is a criminal. The point that I'm trying to make is that it's funny that he remembers everything that doesn't implicate him. Whenever something implicates him in a bad way, no, I don't remember, I don't recall. But anything else that doesn't implicate him or put him in a bad light, no, he remembers perfectly. You know, but this is the South Africa we're living. Nothing is going to happen. Absolutely nothing is going to happen. Somebody sending you documents, you don't open them. Like, what is that? That doesn't even make sense. Nah, we are being really taken for a joke.
Good morning, Clement. Pat here from Spayview. All these commissioners, including the Hawks boss, the country is under siege, syndicately. I wonder all these documents that they're talking about right now, private documents, what is the president's advisors going to advise him to do? Because that means trouble for the president as well. The country is under siege. These generals, commissioners, they need to be removed, all of them.
Yo, Uncle Siam, Clement, good morning. Can I be anonymous, please? You know, Clement, all these top people that are holding top positions, they are all pathetic liars. They can't even maintain their lives. Remember, these people have been doing all these corrupt things for many years. That's why they can able to keep money in their houses, because they never thought something like this will happen to them. And we still have a bunch of others that are still coming. These people, all these top people that are holding positions, I'm telling you, they are all corrupt. Well, not all per se, but probably 75% of them, they are corrupt. We see them when they come to townships with these top cars, expensive bottles, and they make other guys, some ice boys and all that. They are corrupt, these people, and they're all liars. I mean, when you ask them a simple question, they don't answer a question. They tell you a statement that shows that they are liars.
Hey, yeah. Matthew on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, I'm not a happy taxpayer. Seeing people buy Gucci and Louis Vuittons that they can't even afford. It breaks me to come to work and hear how much billions get wasted due to corruption. That's it. Guys, we work so hard for the money that we get paid at the end of the month. And then some of that goes to government. And what do they do with it? That's why you've got residents. We once had a chat about residents of, what was that community again? Westville. I think it's the Westville community in eThekwini. They were withholding their taxes and their rates in a pushback against high tariff hikes in the metro. And they were unhappy about so many things because government just fails in service delivery there. There are financial losses for the city, and they wanted those to be addressed first before they can continue with their taxes and rates. So they are so frustrated with inefficient service delivery in that metro. And let's be honest, guys, we are paying a lot. We are paying a lot in tax. But do we even have the services? Electricity? Water? Look at our roads. Is maintenance being done on our roads? So as taxpayers in this country, we are essentially subjected to double tax. Wouldn't you agree? We're subjected to double tax. We hand over our taxes to SARS that go into the national fiscus, and then you tend to the private companies for services that the state fails to deliver. That's why you've got private security. You must buy an expensive house because it must be in an area where at least there's a boom gate. Those places are expensive. Private schooling, because government is failing with public schooling. Private healthcare, because have you seen our public hospitals? Private power supplies, because have you seen Eskom over the last couple of years? And I'm not talking about the last 3 years, or the last 2 years when we started seeing some head shoots. I'm talking for the longest time. How long were we subjected to load shedding? And we had to go get all of these private power supplies. So we are being double taxed. We give government the money so that we can have services. We don't get those services. And then some of us are lucky enough to go to the private sector to get the very services that our taxes are supposed to cover. How could you then be a happy taxpayer? How? And they live fancy lives. They drive in fancy cars. They've got protectors. They live in houses for free. And then some of them are so corrupt that they have no shame. With our money. 10 minutes before 10.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on primemediaplus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 7:02. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the primemediaplus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
From pioneering investments in the telecom sector to getting a foot in the door in the early days of private media, the Mine Workers Investment Company has always been on the lookout for new and innovative companies to advance South Africa as a nation, while building financial security for our country's mine workers and their families. As we end a year of looking back on 3 decades of incredible successes, we look forward to the next 3 decades and beyond. Join us as we celebrate 30 years of MIC.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, You're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery and unveiling benefits. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Need a seat? Try 7 or 5, it's your call. Want a sunroof? Make it a panoramic. Gotta have power? How does award-winning 138 kilowatt sound? The Changan CS75 Pro is big enough for the kids, smart enough for your playlist, and stylish enough for your Friday night too. Why settle when you can have it all without compromise? The Changan CS75 Pro. Drive tomorrow's SUV today. Visit changanmotors.co.za for more.
Changan, driven to evolve.
Across South Africa, thousands of learners face the daily reality of period poverty, and the Discam Foundation's Million Comforts campaign has been working for change and to change that. By making sanitary products accessible in schools, the program has helped learners show up with confidence and stay focused in class. Today, on Afternoon Drive with John Pellman, we're unpacking what's next for Million Comforts as it steps into a new phase of growth and impact. We'll hear how new partnerships are helping expand the program into areas like hygiene education, health services, mentorship, life skills training, and career guidance for both girls and boys. Don't miss this important conversation today on Afternoon Drive. The Discam Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
7 minutes before 10 o'clock. Eunice, you're in Killarney. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Yeah, hi there, Clement. Clement, you know, the Daily Maverick has just come out with an expose. I don't know if you've seen it, of all the heads of the various amenities in Joburg, what they earn. And it's unbelievable that you can get the heads of these amenities earning more than what the president earns. I mean, if you take, for example, you drive around Joburg, I mean, there's more potholes, the robots are not working, the roads are in a pathetic condition, yet the head of JRA earns close on to, I think it's something like 4 to 5 million rands a year. You know, I mean, you had the other day just a youngster who's in his 30s from the Joburg Housing Agency, earns close on to 3.5 million rands a year, yet he's caught for corruption with the whole wad of money at his house. Now, I mean, I can't understand how these heads, there's no delivery. I mean, the head of City Power, for example, earns close on to nearly 5 million rands a year. How then do you explain that when people complain, they don't get the services, and yet the heads of these organizations earn that type of money?
Yeah.
Understand that, Clement.
Doesn't make sense, Eunice, in Killarney. Thanks for your call.
Good morning, Clement and the 702 lenders. I think it's rough. It's tough seeing everything that is blatantly gross negligence, it's criminality, it's thuggery, it's a whole lot of things. And I think there's an opportunity for us to take all of this and change certain laws, especially to your point around suspension, full pay. Perhaps labor laws need to be looking at it to say, well, when you're suspended, you only get paid 50%, and if you're not found guilty, you get paid the remainder. Hand in hand also, especially in the public sector with the PFMA and also other laws. I think we need to seriously look at our laws and see how best they can work for the people. Because at the moment, these laws are also a hindrance to ensuring that our tax is being used towards the goodness of this country. So that's something that I think should be considered.
Good day, Clement. I'm also not a happy taxpayer, and thank you for your outrage. But can we explain to people where our tax money goes and where the government's money comes from? Because I don't think people understand that government's money comes from taxpayers and government grants comes from their own tax money. Thank you, Joe.
Good morning, 702 Land. Clement, this is very clear that our taxpayers' money is going to be looted. is going to be looted, and this is not going to stop, you see. So the only way is just to try and oust, this government completely out, and have a new government in power, you see. Because now, really, the way you are talking, it really pains me a lot. I'm a taxpayer, man. I'm paying a lot, This is really not fair. It's not fair to us, And we don't know what to do. We don't know who to approach. Ramaphosa, really, he is, he's a tortoise. He's so slow. I don't know. I don't know what can we do, man. Yeah, I don't know what can we do. Ek moet hom warm klap gee so that he can opstaan, man, and think, and think and be, smart and then be decisive. Thank you.
Morning, Clement and listeners. The problem is we as South Africans, we are what you call keyboard warriors. We complain on the radio, we complain on the internet, but that is all we do. We don't get up to try and make a difference out there. We just complain. We complain. That's all we do. We are all unhappy taxpayers, but that's as far as it goes. What are we as South Africans going to do about it? We need to stand up and do something to bring change around. Because complaining is not going to help. The government, nobody complain. They don't care. They just do whatever they have to do. But as South Africans, we need to start doing more than complaining. And we should not, in fact, we must get out of our comfort zone and expect somebody else to do the job for us. Go to the streets, protest, do something. I don't know.
And I think I agree with you. But I think also people are just resigned to, they just don't think those things work anymore. But I agree with you. I think as South Africans, we have a high tolerance for nonsense. We have a high tolerance for abuse. And I don't know how we could change that. Because we're good with complaining. We're going to be outraged, all of us. Outraged about how our taxes are being abused and how corrupt these senior officers are. But what do we do about it? How can it be? How can it be that many of us, none of you have called in and said, hey, I'm a happy taxpayer, Clement? None. How can it be that so many of us can be unhappy taxpayers in this country and we do nothing about it? How? How can it be that we are so unhappy as taxpayers? We do nothing about it. Let's think about that.
Different sounds, different worlds.
Different artistic expressions, music, art, and fashion collide. Are you coming? Let's go to the place where the beat drops, the fashion pops, and the art rocks.
We're talking Focalistic, Daliwonga, Mafigi Zolo, Kurt Darren, Matera Doughboy, Zoe Mudicha, Claire Johnston from Mango Groove, the Tswani Gospel Choir, and more. Mahindra Fusion Fest, Saturday 7th March, Sunbet Arena. Tickets on Ticketmaster now. See you there.
Kick off to glory with Hollywood Bets and Asi Shege be in the game. Go full speed ahead with the epic competition. You stand to win a share of 4 million rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Corolla Cross. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures online or at your nearest branch. Live life in the fast lane. Bet now for your chance to score. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
You may regret pulling a muscle while trying to impress that someone at the gym. But with Outsurance Essential Car Insurance, you'll have no regrets covering your older car at a much lower premium. And you get third-party cover up to 1 million rand. Get Outsurance Essential Car Insurance today for unfinanced cars older than 5 years valued at less than 130,000 rand. SMS SAVE to 45363. That's SAVE to 45363. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. We begin with news just in from KZN. The death toll from a crash in the south of Durban this morning has risen to 11. A truck and a minibus taxi collided on the R102 in the Lotus Park area. Emergency services are still on the scene with multiple people rushed to hospital with varying injuries. ALS paramedic spokesperson Gareth Jameson says a child is amongst those killed in the horrific crash.
At this stage, the taxi driver is still severely entrapped, and eThekwini Fire Department is working hard to extricate the patient. And once freed, obviously he'll be placed into an awaiting ambulance and transported for the urgent care he also requires.
Alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Madlala is expected to make his first appearance in the Johannesburg High Court today for pre-trial proceedings. Madlala, his wife Tsakane, and 3 others will appear on attempted murder charges linked to an alleged hit on his socialite ex-girlfriend Tebogo Tobejane. But he also faces 24 other charges, 11 of which are also attempted murder. Madlala has featured prominently in allegations of corruption at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. The Tshwane municipality has received a qualified audit opinion with findings. This comes as the metro's unauthorized, irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure climbs to over 5 billion rand. A qualified audit opinion means there are misstatements in the entity's financial documents. The Auditor General's report for the 2024-2025 financial year is expected to be tabled today before the Tshwane Council. Thabiso Goba reports.
A clean audit continues to be elusive for the Tshwane municipality, with its last unqualified audit opinion coming in the 2020-2021 financial year. The latest audit report presents a mixed bag of results for the municipality. The AG has commended the municipality for reducing its qualification areas from 6 to 2. However, some historical problems continue to persist for the capital. The AG says the municipality currently has no effective system for internal control of its assets. It says the municipality failed to take reasonable steps in preventing the over 5 billion rand in unauthorized, irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Some of this can be attributed to overspending on non-cash items, incurring interest on late payments, and contracts awarded without compliance to municipal legislation. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
To the Western Cape now, where former Heathfield High Principal Wesley Newman's legal team has filed an urgent application at the Labour Court seeking an enforcement order to uphold the recent High Court ruling which reinstated him. The move comes after the Western Cape Education Department signalled its intention to appeal the ruling. Newman was dismissed in 2021 for refusing to reopen a school during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The South African Council for Educators says the court's ruling must be honoured immediately to prevent further delays and uncertainty. Spokesperson Warren Hermanus.
The court has ruled that he has to return, and that's all he wants. They're also still painting the man as a maverick, whereas the community, the school, everybody who is familiar with Wesley Newman knows that all he is a brilliant educator who advocated for the safety of the children and the community.
Hermanus has described the more than 4 million rand spent in legal fees in this matter as a waste of public money.
And we are hoping and trusting that the judge who hears this one would agree that the court order has to stand. And as we speak right now, the appeal that Mr. Manya spoke about still hasn't been lodged.
And China's President Xi Jinping has told Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer that their countries must strengthen ties to counter geopolitical headwinds. They've been meeting in Beijing this morning. President Xi Jinping has told Starmer that as permanent members of the UN Security Council and major global economies, China and the UK need to strengthen dialogue and cooperation. Starmer's visit to China is the first by a British Prime Minister since 2018 and follows a slew of Western leaders seeking warmer relations with Beijing.
China is a vital player on the global stage, and it's vital that we build a more sophisticated relationship where we can identify opportunities to collaborate, but of course also allow a meaningful dialogue on areas where we disagree.
Gold is trading at $5,371.04 an ounce. The rand is at 15.70 to the dollar, 21.84 to the pound, 18.72 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.10 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we still have got some delays on the Mike 1 South. This is between Marlborough Drive and Coiler Drive exit. It's due to roadworks that are taking place along the route. And then if you are traveling along the N12 as well as the R24 West, do expect delays between Edenville Road and the Girulis interchange.
A partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng with scattered showers expected. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 27 and 30 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The death toll from a crash in the south of Durban this morning has risen to 11.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 10 o'clock, Dumelang. Welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thanks for staying with us here on 702. I always appreciate your contributions on the 702 open line, and I'm sorry if I riled you up so early in the morning. This is the nature of life. Sometimes things just get so irritating. Like, they do. It irritates me that I pay so much tax. And when I look around, I see how wasteful our government leaders are. It really does get to me, and I know it gets to a lot of you. And the question I asked earlier on is, why are we comfortable with that? Why? We've got a high tolerance for nonsense in this country. And I think we need to explore that more. And I don't know why, but for some reason, there's a lot of nonsense we accept and we get accustomed to. But we're quick to call in and to talk on the radio and be outraged. And maybe we need to think about what else we can do to show this government that we are in charge. Because that's the money they use that comes from us. And they are wasting it. They're misusing it. They're busy transferring top cops who have behaved improperly. Instead of action being taken against them, they transfer them to another station. To do what? To sit there and get full pay until they retire. Who's paying that top cop? You as a taxpayer. So we need to think about how to channel this outrage we have, because the way we've done it recently, it clearly has not worked. Remember, at 11 o'clock, we're going to have a conversation on our Thursday dialogue about the scholar transport. I want to bring in just the different actors here. I want to bring in the transport education. I want to bring in the scholar transport associations, and I want to bring in the National School of Governing Bodies as well. I want to know also, as a parent, what you think your contribution could be. How do you regulate? How do you get involved with your children's scholar transport? That's a conversation we're going to have on our Thursday dialogue at 11 o'clock. But right now, we start with Hanging Out feature.
Hanging Out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
And today we are hanging out with music executive and broadcaster Randall Abrahams. He's many other things. And we're going to get to know him better between now and 11 o'clock. If you want to join the conversation, you're welcome to call us on 011-883-0702. You can send WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. Randall, welcome to the show. How are you?
Very well. Yourself?
Yeah, I've been trying to get you here for a while now.
It's taken us a while, but finally.
Finally, you're here. Welcome back home. How does it feel to be back at Prime Media House? I was telling the listeners earlier that at some point you were our boss because you were the Prime Media Broadcasting CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't been to this building, have you?
I have been to this building, yes.
You have been here.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Always happy to be in, I don't know if you want to call it my natural habitat, but certainly a habitat that I've been part of since the 90s.
Yeah.
Giving away my age, I guess.
Let's go back there in the 90s. What do you What do you think was a source of influence and inspiration for you when you were growing up that has led you to where you are today?
That's a great question. So when I was really, really young, and I mean kind of 4 years old, 3 or 4, I started listening to the radio.
At 4?
Yeah.
Did you even know what that thing is called?
I knew what a turntable was. I knew what records were.
Yeah.
But I kind of, by 5 or 6, I was already, in my brain, listing what I wanted to listen to. I'd know, I'm sure you know the Springbok radio was around. And that was kind of a multi-format station. So I'd do everything from music to news to kiddies programs. And I would certainly know what was on and at what time it was on. So, and certainly I knew when the chart was on. So I knew when the big hits of the day would be played. And I think you had to get that into your brain because it was only on for such a short time, right? In the modern day, you can listen to anything from anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
So you had to, if you were interested in something, you had to, say to yourself, okay, between 6 and 7 this evening, there's something I want to listen to. I'd better focus and prepare for that.
Mm-hmm. That's fascinating. And was there anybody who was listening to radio at home?
Yes, absolutely. But my dad more from a news actuality point of view, not from a music point.
What about music then? But because I'm trying to trace the influence, like who listened to music at home and introduced you and made you love music, or is it something you developed yourself naturally?
So my mom was a classical pianist.
I see.
Not that I had much interest in classical music, but certainly there was a lot of classical music around the house because my mom played all the time, and in fact could, just until she passed on, she could still play, absolutely wonderfully. She never lost that capacity. But then I guess the music thing was just, it was imbued in me.
Yeah.
I just loved popular music from the minute I heard it on the radio. As I say, at a very, very young age, I could remember what the songs were, who they were by, what the tune was, what the words were.
Okay. What about radio then? Like, where does the love for broadcasting come from? I mean, you've helped launch station like YFM. You've been a general manager of commercial radio at the SABC, overseeing some, key radio stations. You've been broadcasting CEO here at Prime Media. Where does then the love for radio come in?
Well, I guess, as I say, in the 70s, certainly when I grew up, that was the number one place, We didn't have a whole ton of money to go out and buy records all the time. Though obviously in the 1980s I started collecting. But, I was fascinated by radio. And, the thing about radio is, and especially, I can imagine even in the 80s, you were being transported to another place. Because if someone was broadcasting, I lived in Cape Town. So if someone was broadcasting from Johannesburg, where was Johannesburg? What were these places that they were alluding to? What were these clubs that they were talking about? Because you didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
And you didn't, I certainly didn't know anybody who'd been to any of these clubs. And even if someone had been to a club, they couldn't show you an image, right?
Yeah.
People just didn't take photos all the time.
So it was a real theater of the mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you'd create this mysterious, people with respect don't create dark, horrible places in their mind, right? They create places that are amazing. And that's kind of how I pictured everything. I thought about it.
Yeah. I want to play some of your favorite music. And I'm sure this was very difficult for you to give us just 4 songs that are for someone like you who appreciates music. And every time I would listen to you and the segment you have with John Pellman, and you talk about some music, I always used to think, oh my God, I thought I loved and appreciated a new music. And I really think I don't, because you are just on another level. So let's start with Elvis Presley, because we're going to start with that song, Suspicious Minds.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it special to you?
So first and foremost, I'm a massive Elvis fan. I've been to Graceland on a number of occasions. Elvis was the thing that really, turned me on to popular music. That I used to get books from the library and I used to read about him. And, when I was 10 or 11, I was reading biographies, Elvis biographies. And I knew the music intimately. And I always think that, in terms of his musicianship and his ability to, well, firstly his vocal ability, but his performing ability. You know, I've just been, as I say, I've always just been a massive fan. And Suspicious Minds is just such a great song. It was written by Mark James. And again, you know, when we're talking about a singer, it's almost as though people say, you know, you've got great musicians and everything, but, you know, if you've got a great song, what's the value of a singer? I say to people, go and listen to the Mark James original. It's the same band that's playing with Elvis. And the arrangement is also very, very similar. Except for that opening riff by Reggie Young. But the singer is in a whole different universe, you know. And for me, I think that is significant, that, you know, vocalists are able to imbue a song with meaning that sometimes a writer hasn't originally intended. You know, so there's something to say. It's not just about hitting the notes or, you know, being in tune. There's a lot more to singing.
Okay, yes, Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe a word I say? We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds. So if an old friend I know stops by to say hello, would I still see suspicion in your eyes? But here we go again, asking where I've been. You can't see the tears are real, I'm crying. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds. Won't let our love survive, or dry the tears from your eyes. Let's don't let a good thing die. When, honey, you know I have never lied to you. Yeah, yeah. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe a word I say? Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap?
Morning, Clement, and to Brendel. During the Idols, Brendel, you were scary kids, man. Hey? Seriousness. You hardly smiled. But anyway, that's the way it was. Yeah, when coming to music, I was born 1964. You've just revealed your age. And I should say to you, hello, Ndanga. Hello, mate. Nice one, eh?
You've just revealed your age. Do you get that a lot when people reflect on your time on Idols? Because they always say, and I can tell you guys, he's been smiling throughout the conversation. So he does smile and he can smile. Do you get that a lot where people got surprised by your demeanor on Idols?
Yeah, to a degree. I think
to a degree. Come on.
You know, when people come up to me,
Yeah.
you know, originally when the show was on, obviously they'd be a bit, you know, be a degree of trepidation. But I think that television is so amazing because it's this tiny screen in your house and you think you know people.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true.
But you know, in the case of Idols, I mean, you know, for me, getting into the record business was a very serious thing, and I also realized what it takes in order to make it. Right?
Mm.
It's not only about being a good singer or a good performer; it also takes determination and hard work and having to dig deep.
Mm.
And I think, you know, that was the type of point of view that I tried to bring to Idols, that it was more than a singing competition. Someone would go on and hopefully have a career. And that's really hard work. It's not easy.
I mean, I remember every time I watched Idols, I always looked to you because that's really going to tell me if what the artist's progression is going to look like during the competition. Because I always think, I wonder what Randall is going to say.
Thank you.
I wonder what Randall is going to say. When you joined, did they know that that's the kind of like honest and brutal like reaction you're always going to give? Did they know that? Did they expect that from you? Was that discussed at all?
It was never discussed. I mean, my audition lasted all of maybe 3 minutes. And I didn't, you know, they said someone's going to come in and sing and you must comment and then they'll film it.
What did you say to that poor person?
The person
Were you hard?
The person wasn't very good.
Oh my goodness. So, and they've never had issues throughout Idols that you're coming across too hard on these
not at all.
contestants. Yeah.
Never.
Okay, that's really interesting.
And as I say, I mean, you know, if you think about your career, for example, right? There's no, you know, there's certainly no, you're not going to know what public taste is going to be like next year.
Mm.
So with respect, any of us who are in the public eye, who put ourselves into that domain, you can't legislate for public taste. And for whatever reason, the public may feel they don't like you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they, you know, they're not entertained by you for whatever reason, way beyond your control. So therefore, to put yourself in that position is very, very difficult. And I think people who aren't in the industry don't appreciate that. And especially now in the age of social media, it's even more, you know, there's even more of a laser focus on what goes out there. So I think that, you know, you've got to have a very kind of strong personality and belief in order to maintain it. Because again, it's very different from having, with respect, a 9-to-5 job.
No, that's true. So, and you've never at any point, I mean, how long were you in Idols for?
18 seasons, I think.
What?
Yeah.
That's
2001.
That is an incredibly long time. You've never felt under pressure to tone it down a little bit? Not once?
No, not at all.
What did you always look out for? Because there's times when someone would be amazing vocally, but you still go, it's not working. Either the choice of song, you spoke about determination earlier. What were the key things you always looked out for when you were rating the performers?
So, because of Idols being, you know, they're choosing the songs for you to a large extent. So you're going to have to be, you know, you're going to have a diverse appreciation of music and be able to sing different styles in the context of the competition, right? I'm not saying once you win or do well and then move on to your own career. The second thing is originality. I think there were lots of singers, you know, every year on Idols there'd be some song that was big.
Yes.
Whitney, Mariah, you know, there'd be some song that was big and then everybody would sing it, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking for someone who, not only in terms of their vocal skill, is original, but someone who has the brains to think, yes, that's the biggest song right now, but everybody's going to sing it. So let me, number one, do something different, but let me do something that really works for me. Rather than, I'd like to be Whitney Houston, who am I?
Yeah.
And how best can I, expose myself?
Through the song. But here's what confuses me then. Because there's times when there's a singer who chooses a song, and I could see your faces as judges go, whoa. Like if someone chooses Whitney's song or Beyonce's song, which requires like serious high notes, and I could see your faces go, are you sure?
Yeah.
But then again, there are some people who would choose like these big artists and they change the song to make it their own and be original. And sometimes the judges would say, there are certain songs you don't really need to change too much. You need to be able to know where to draw the line, because otherwise you've completely missed it.
So that is the challenge, right? Someone who's a great interpretive singer, there are very, very few of them. And again, if you're going to then do, with respect, Beyonce, are you then going to do a note perfect copy? Because if I'm in the studio with you and we've got an original song, because that's the end, right? That's the ultimate day. That's the final day of Idols. You are recording your own single, right? What are you going to bring to the song if all you've done is do a really good mimicry throughout the period?
I see. And if you have really shown yourself and you've gotten feedback from the judges, that helps also curate your own tone as an artist. All right, let's go to some WhatsApp voice notes coming through on 072 702 1702.
Morning, Clem. I can confirm that Randall is a nice guy. I've never met him, but my grandmother used to clean for him while he stayed in Kelani. That's what she said to me, and she's late. Her name was Christina. I don't know if she remembers or if the story is true, but that's what she said to me. Nice show, thanks.
Maybe he paid your grandmother to say that.
Hi, Clement. Good morning. This is Batu from Taxpayer. Clement, can you please kindly ask Randall Abrahams when he's on studio? Since he's been in various radio stations across all platforms, Prime Media, SABC, and other platforms, independent media, which are his top 5 on-air radio presenters of all time? Thanks, man. Bati from Clubs.
He's laughing at your question. Do you still listen to radio, though?
Absolutely.
A lot?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, are you more of a music or talk?
So I kind of switch between everything.
Okay.
I'm always looking for something that's, that if there's a great song on, or if there's a great, interview on, or piece of commentary, I'm listening all the time.
Okay.
All the time. And I'm certainly not going to answer that question. We'd have to start with Clement.
I cannot answer that question either.
And then we'd have to say Glenn Lewis and Thomas Masingana, number 2 and 3, because they're my friends, right? And then Anele, who was with me outside, is going to say, am I in this top 5?
Yeah. You have to start with me because I've invited you here.
There you go.
So don't you dare be rude. Okay, it's 10:30. We're going to continue this conversation with Randall Abrahams after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. You keep your WhatsApp voice notes coming on 072 702 1702. You can call us as well on 011 883 0702. Maybe you've worked with him. Maybe you've got a question for him. Maybe you just want to say something as you reflect on his career over the last over 3 decades. Hey, Bali, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. We begin with an update from that accident in KZN. Emergency service teams are still working on the scene of that horrific crash in the south of Durban. 11 people have been killed and a number of others injured following the early morning crash. It's understood a truck and a minibus taxi collided on the R102 in the Lotus Park area. Alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Magwenya is expected to make his first appearance in the Johannesburg High Court today for pre-trial pre-trial proceedings. Matala, his wife Tsakane, and 3 others will be appearing on attempted murder charges linked to an alleged hit on his socialite ex-girlfriend Tebogo Tobejane. But he also faces 24 other charges, 11 of which are also attempted murder. And the financially troubled Impendle local municipality has been given 7 days to elect a mayor. The ANC-led municipality in the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands has again failed to pay salaries to municipal workers, including its councillors. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
While traveling in the Naturina area, we still have got an accident reported on the N1 North. It's right near Golden Highway. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Please try to avoid that one. There's also queuing traffic in Protea Glen along the N12 West towards the R558. Obviously, faulty traffic lights are causing these delays. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between Van Buren Road and the Kilulis interchange. While traveling in the city of Tshwane, some issues being reported on the N1 South towards the Flying Saucer turnoff. Roadworks are taking place along this route. Please try to use the N14 North through Centurion instead. I'll have more updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
This March, the festival that brings together art, fashion and music is back. And in 2026, the Mahindra Fusion Fest features iconic music artists such as Z, Folklistic, Dali Wonga, Zoe Modicha, Mafiki Zolo, Kat Darren, Claire Johnson, Blackie, Maglera Duboy with the Tshwane Gospel Choir and many more. It's all going down on Saturday the 7th of March at Sunbed Arena for one night only. Not only can you win tickets to the Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026, but at the end of the night, you could also be driving off in a Mahindra 3XO of your very own. So to enter, quite easy, go to your nearest Mahindra dealership and test drive the Mahindra 3XO. Grab your tickets at Ticketmaster now and get ready for a cultural revolution at the Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026 Sunbed Arena on the 7th of March, powered by 702. T's and C's apply.
For over 30 years, Bid Air Cargo has been keeping South Africa's supply chain moving, giving our economy the dedicated cargo capacity it needs. Whether it's really, really urgent, oversized, or hazardous, when a shipment has to fly, we make it happen. Linking all major airports with reliable freighter services, our promise delivers. Bid Air Cargo. Every kilo counts.
The Checkers Hyper Price Drop is here. Save up to 40% on deals like Kellogg's Cornflakes 750 grams and Nutrific Whole Wheat Biscuit Cereal 1.35 kgs, both for 119 Rand. Clover Crush 100% Fruit Juice Blend 1.5 litres, any 4 for 149 Rand. And Pampers Mega Box Nappies for 399 Rand. Save 250 Rand. Deals valid until this Sunday, only at Checkers Hyper.
Across South Africa, thousands of learners face the daily reality of period poverty, and the Discam Foundation's Million Comforts campaign has been working to change that. By making sanitary products accessible in schools, the program has helped learners show up with confidence and stay focused in class. So today, on the afternoon drive with John Pellman, we're unpacking what's next for Million Comforts as it steps into a new phase of growth and impact. We'll hear how new partnerships are helping expand the program into areas like hygiene, education, health services, mentorship, life skills training, and career guidance for both girls and boys. Don't miss this important conversation today on the afternoon drive. The Discam Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
25 minutes before 11 o'clock, we're hanging out with Randall Abrahams this morning on our Hanging Out feature. And let me start with your WhatsApp voice note on 072-702-1702. And then we'll go to another favorite song of his as we continue our conversation.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to Mr. Randall Abrahams. My question to him, during his time with Idols, I just want to find out, from all the winners during his time there, who were his favorites? Like, they probably like top 2 or top 3 of the best Idol winners for him. And also those that say they were runners up who does he think maybe should have won Idols but did not win it? And because I'm looking at some of the runners-up, they are doing well, in their music careers. This is Pete from Tembisa. Thanks for the nice show.
Thank you, Pete. They're asking you some tough questions, eh? Now you must tell us your favorite winners and the favorite runner-ups that you thought should have won.
Again, Idols was a fantastic competition. And I think that, again, over the period, we've had, Shikana, Amanda Black, Paxton, so many really, really great performers, all the way back to, Heinz Winkler. So I think that, it's very difficult because as much as you're part of the cast and you're giving kind of tough commentary, it is a bit of a family, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the success that everybody's had, and the one point I want to make about that is that I said during the show often that winning the competition is one thing and going on to a career is another. And I certainly think that in the case of both Shikana and Amanda Black, they didn't win.
Yeah.
But they've gone on to fantastic careers. They utilized it as a platform. And that's really, what the show for me was about.
Yeah.
Good morning to you, Clement. Clement, just a question to Randall. I would just like to know, Randall, was there ever in all your years with the Idols, did you ever have that instance where, from the onset, that you listen to this person, and then your mind said to you with the right guidance and the right training, this person can be the winner, and eventually that person became the winner? Did you ever have that instance? Thank you, Eugene in Boxburg.
Very good question, Eugene. So I'll let you in on a secret. What I used to do is, obviously, we would sit around and, you've got that deliberation, right, with Theatre Week. And I'd always try to see whether or not the people that were in my picks would end up as the winners.
So you would have picks by when?
You'd have to pick that top 10 or the top 12, right? The judges would deliberate about that.
When you decide who's, okay.
I was pretty good.
Oh, what?
I had a high hit rate.
Really? Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Donovan says, Clement, please ask Randall this very difficult question. How does he rate your singing skills? And Randall must be very honest. Well, I shall not let him respond to that question. Okay, the next song, that is your favorite. Where should we go now? Should we do Dusty or should we do Jill Scott?
Tyler, you've got Gil Scott Heron.
Oh, that's Gil. Oh, not Jill. Okay, that's Gil Scott Heron. And then we've got Dusty Springfield. We've got Lisa.
Lisa and Tyler.
Should we go with Lisa?
Yeah.
Tell me about the song. Why is it?
So, when Tyler kind of blew up,
the
one thing looking at her image and her styling and the music was, I said to myself, she could be, she was big, but I thought she would be huge in the Far East. I just said to myself, a collaboration with an artist or a group from the Far East is just going to give her a totally different dimension because it's a very different market, right? She's up for a Grammy again this year, but I looked at it and I thought, come on, this in the Far East would just, blow up. You're going to have to do a collab because they're very dedicated to artists from that part of the world. And then when she did the song with Lisa, I was like, there you go.
And this one works.
Billion downloads.
Yeah. When I'm With You is the name of the song.
My girls told me take it slow, but they don't know what I know. Say you need to stay composed, but they don't know what I know. Told me I should leave you alone. Told me stay your at home, but I don't mind. Could have been a good girl, but I won't be. I'ma turn one night to a whole week. Look at me now, I'm inside out, so wild. I'ma let you control me. Give it to me good like you own me. All my pride goes out the window when I'm with you. what a certified winner. Michelin stars, how I like my dinner. Said you wanna stick around, go figure. Everybody does, I'm what everybody wants. Everybody sees, I'm on everybody's screen. Team make everybody jump, I make everybody scream. Tell me this ain't the baddest back to back you ever seen. I can put you on the map and she can take you overseas. Quick trip, one way and I'm there for you. Good girl, out there but I'm bad for you. Elevate my space, I'm up there for you. Anyways, any day I make plans for you. Like it when you tell me what to do. Like it when you tell me break the rules. I like that side of me when we get together. I'm way better when I'm with you. When I'm with you. When I'm with you. Oh yeah, just look how you got me out of my body. When I'm with you. When I'm with you. Oh yeah, just look how you got me out of my body. I must be out of my mind. Can't tell me nothing but mine. You must be out of your mind. Can't tell me nothing but mine. I must be out of my mind. Can't tell me nothing but
I mean, Tyler is amazing, hey? So she's up for another Grammy, but she's still, it's like Best African.
Yes, that's right.
Something.
Yeah. Burna Boy, WizKid. I'm trying to think of the other people in the category.
If we're being honest, though, I mean, Randall, we've produced some really big, impactful artists over the last couple of years, but for some reason we still box them within the African category at the Grammys.
Absolutely.
When do they begin to move beyond that?
Well, Tyler made the comment at the VMAs, I think, either last year or the year before. You know, that, as I say, they're not kind of African artists, they're worldwide artists, right? And I think that you're absolutely right. I think it should be a fair playing field. I think it should be a fair competition. And there's no reason to put it into kind of a musical ghetto, you know. Burna Boy, fantastic, massive artist. And again, as I say, in terms of the big categories, the, you know, best album, best vocal, best female, I mean, you know, artists from all around the world should compete.
Someone was asking about the books you're reading now. What are you reading currently? And are there books that are your favorite of all time?
So I've just recently finished the Silo trilogy. I don't know if you've watched Silo on television. There's been Tape You Die.
Yeah,
yes,
in
exactly.
inverted commas.
Exactly.
Okay.
You go out to clean.
Yes, to clean the and he's cleaned the screen. I've watched it. I love it because I really think that there's a very powerful, like I think it really there's a powerful message just about the movie and about what we are told about this life.
Absolutely.
And what exists.
What we
outside.
know and what we don't.
And what we know and what we don't.
Yeah.
There's a reason we know what we know.
Absolutely.
There's a reason
we don't know
what we don't know.
Absolutely.
And when I watched that, I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's wild. Can I recommend something for you to watch?
Absolutely.
Begonia.
Okay.
Yeah. It's incredible. I think it's on, I'll just remember, but it's a film. It's so good because it also, again, what do you know and what do you not know? And I love this film that just confronts you with these deeper questions about life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to some more WhatsApps on 072-702-1702.
Eta, Clem, Tato here, hanging out with an incredible radio dude. Yes, he loves music. Yes, he's Mr. Idols, but a lot of people probably don't know that Randall was an incredible radio manager. When YFM started, October 97, he was poached from Good Hope FM to come and manage YFM. Ran a very tight ship. I did the drive show and my salary was 4.5 grand. That's what Randall said. He's like, that's all I have for you. But when we got our figures back, I think it was 6 months later, he doubled all of our salaries. That's the kind of tight ship he ran, but he was also a fair manager. So shout out to Randall for that. What I want to find out from Randall, what is his thought on the state of radio and radio management? and the madness that happens in April, where people are shuffled and fired, often based on a whim and not on KPIs and deliverables. Great show, my dude.
Oh, and there are certain stations where in March, you just don't know. Like you literally just don't know until that very last day.
Look, it's a very tough business, and a lot of those calls are also very, very tough because as much as you're given, the figures and the audience figures and that sort of thing, and if a personality's figures have been going down for a period, I think they come to the realization that it's time for them to move on. But again, they're very, very difficult decisions because it's like buying a football player. As much as they've performed in another league or at another team, are they going to work inside your system? So those are very, very difficult choices, and they were never easy ones to make. You're affecting people's lives, you're affecting their income. So really, probably the toughest part of managing a radio station.
Were you the one actually telling the presenter that we're not resigning again? Did you send someone else? How do you even do that?
Well, I guess that's your role.
Do you say I guess this is the end of the road, or I don't know how you, because as you say, that's people's livelihood.
Absolutely. Well, again, having said that, people have made the choice in order to be on an annual contract or on a 24-month contract.
Yeah.
So, and again, they recognize that you've got to make those choices because ultimately, if the station is successful, then everybody wins.
Yeah.
And if the station isn't successful, then the football manager is the one that's going to get blamed.
True. He also asked about the state of radio and your thoughts on that.
I think the state of radio, again, is very exciting because radio stations are up against, they were up against television for a very long time, and now they're up against content creators in the online space.
Yeah.
So certainly from what I'm seeing, radio stations are responding to that and are recognizing that they're going to have to go beyond the kind of narrow domain that they were in before. And I think that for me is quite an exciting space. I think that the content creators, some of them, have really given everybody a run for their money. And I think that, the more competition, the healthier for the broader industry, for the broader content industry.
Absolutely. 10 minutes before 11.
How's it, Doff? How's it, Savvy? Why are you sitting in your driveway all by your lonesome, Doff?
Selling my car, Sav. I don't trust the internet. I like to wheel and deal my own wheels. That's how you make way more, Sav.
Okay, so where's your car now, Doff?
Potential buyers took it for a test drive.
When did they take it for a test drive, Doff?
3 days ago.
Should have sold it to We Buy Cars, Doff.
Yeah, Savvy.
Don't be doff, be savvy. We Buy Cars, geared for a fast, safe sale, geared for you.
Outsurance business insurance. The cost was far less. I even have better benefits.
Outsurance business insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you get 24/7 access to panic assistance, roadside assistance, and even office assistance for guest houses, catering companies, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance business insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurance FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Every home begins with an idea to build smarter, stronger, and to last generations. That idea comes to life at the Summit on Innovative Building Technologies. Catch the Clement Manyathela Show live from the Nasrec Expo Center next Tuesday for all the highlights and updates from the summit, where tomorrow's built environment takes shape. Find out how smart building materials and advanced construction methods are shaping sustainable and resilient communities across SA. That's the Clement Manyathela Show, live from the Summit on Innovative Building Technologies on Tuesday, 3 February, brought to you by the Department of Human Settlements on 702.
Hanging out with Clement
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes before 11 o'clock.
Okay, Clement, maybe if you can ask Randall, how does it sit with them if someone that they've let go becomes more successful than the people that they've put through after the whole competition?
Hi, Clement. Randall, I've been so fascinated by your radio career, particularly the versatility of it, from behind the mic to working in programming to top executive positions at various media houses. What advice would you have for young broadcasters in the industry who are particularly coming up to make sure that they can have a longevity within the industry, such as yourself? I work in broadcasting, and I think there's so many lessons to learn from the type of career that you've had and the way that you've been able to stay relevant within your various positions, but also keeping your career versatile and changing and always new and interesting.
Great questions, yeah.
So let's take the second one. And this is going to sound ridiculous, right? But you have to love it. You have to absolutely, it has to be like the reason that you wake up in the morning. You have to just be like fascinated by everything, right? Like you can't like become like this old guy, like, oh, when radio was like this, etc., etc. That's the death knell, You've got to be fascinated by what's happening on YouTube, what's happening with social media, all those sorts of things. And you've got to be, you've got to have an interest in it. You've got to want to listen and, discover. And if you travel internationally, I'm sure when you do, you switch on the radio, right? You don't have to. And I guess that, it's like, with respect, it's like soccer again. I'm going to use that example. There are people who've been in soccer. So Alex Ferguson is still going to watch Manchester United games. I think he's seen one or two.
Yeah.
Arsene Wenger is still at FIFA.
At that age, yeah.
At that age. So I think you've got to have that sort of very deep love affair and do it. And again, this is going to sound ridiculous. Do it for the right reasons.
Yeah. And like you said, it's going to sound weird, but you have to love it. You really have.
Absolutely.
Like it's. And then the first question, how does it sit with you guys? Does it ever, you ever beat yourself up and say, ugh?
Sometimes you're going to get it wrong, right? Yeah. Again, I said it earlier, there's no legislating for public taste. If there were, then Decca would have signed the Beatles. And in fact, the Beatles record label, Apple Corps, would have signed Crosby, Stills and Nash. We make mistakes.
Yeah.
Hi, Clement. Tola and Cosmo. Just want to find out from Clement real quick. What does he think of the commercial radio stations? Why are they going nowhere, and why are they not really regulated? Thank you.
Hi, Clement. I'm driving with my wife now, and normally 702 is my thing. It's a man's thing. Now you've got the celebrity Randall Abrahams, and my wife is just blushing left, right, and center. Makes me feel like when we're watching Idols and all that other stuff that Randall's involved. Now we've even become fans of Randall's one song on John's show. I mean, it's just ridiculous. This man is all over, but big ups to you, Randall. We respect you. Thank you, Marlon and Samantha.
Don't worry, Marlon. You won't break your marriage. And
Samantha's not going anywhere.
Yeah, Samantha is yours, and Samantha, you can blush all you want. A question about community radio. What do you think of the state of community radio?
Look, I think again, there's been an explosion, obviously, of community radio stations. But again, the challenge with sustaining a community radio station, even now, again, is the social media, right? That there are so many other outlets that you've got to have a very strong and determined management team in order to make those stations work. But they are really, really significant. Not only they shouldn't only be seen as a way that people can get into broadcasting and then end up on a radio station like 702, but they're really important from a community point of view in terms of the information, the news, what is happening. They're from a media point of view, a very cost-effective way of getting that kind of community interest and support and news and messaging out.
Yeah. Mavaya on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, you are having a real legend there. Randall has a natural presence of a leader, which isn't surprising that he's held all these various positions in the broadcasting industry. Radio Dreams, good morning. That's a message from Mavaya there on the WhatsApp line. And it's on that note that we say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you. This
has been fun.
It's been fantastic.
3 minutes before 11.
Grab the bull by the horns in 2026 with the bold GWM P300. Equipped with a powerful 2.4 turbo diesel engine delivering 135 kilowatts, the P300 is born to back you no matter the job and is available from only 5,999 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Sir, ma'am, may I take your order?
Yeah, let me get the New York cut, medium rare, truffle fries on the side, and the lady'll have the salmon. Grilled, not poached. 2 dirty martinis. Real dirty.
Leafy, what's with the voice?
Oh, I came over all Tony Soprano.
Get into character on a city break with Premier Hotels and Resorts. Stay Friday and Saturday and get Sunday night for free. Book now at premierhotels.co.za.
So you thought you were building a business in this economy, but day by day, somehow it grew. You kept going when the freezer didn't freeze, the bucket didn't budge, and the bank balance barely blinked. So you thought you were building a business. You weren't. It was building you. Because this isn't just what you do anymore. It's who you are. And you don't trust just anybody to protect it. Chat to your broker about Old Mutual Insure Business Insurance. Protect what built you. Old Mutual Insure Limited is a licensed FSP and non-life insurer.
Across South Africa, thousands of learners face the daily reality of period poverty, and the Discom Foundation's Million Comforts campaign has been working to change that by making sanitary products accessible in schools. The program has helped learners show up with confidence and stay focused in class. Today on the Afternoon Drive with John Pellman, we're unpacking what's next for Million Comforts as it steps into a new phase of growth and impact. We'll hear how new partnerships are helping expand the program into areas like hygiene education, health services, mentorship, life skills training, and career guidance for both girls and boys. Don't miss this important conversation today on Afternoon Drive. The Discom Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts.
Clement is on X
at The Real Clement M.
All right, it's 11 o'clock, time for the news, and this Eyewitness News is brought to you by Momentum. Financial advisors help you have a better shot at generational wealth. Speak to a Momentum accredited financial advisor. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Let's begin in KZN, where emergency service teams are still working on the scene of a horrific crash in the south of Durban. 11 people have been killed and a number of others injured following the early morning crash. It's understood a truck and a minibus taxi collided on the R102 in the Lotus Park area. Multiple people have been rushed to hospital with varying injuries. ALS paramedic spokesperson Gareth Jameson says a child is amongst those killed in the crash.
At this stage, the taxi driver is still severely entrapped, and eThekwini Fire Department is working hard to extricate the patient. And once freed, obviously he'll be placed into an awaiting ambulance and transported for the urgent care he also requires.
KZN Hawks boss Lesija Sinona claims he is being prejudiced at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Sinona is testifying before the commission in Pretoria for a third day today, but before his cross-examination could resume this morning, he requested to address the commission. That issue resulted in a 45-minute back and forth between the evidence leader Adila Hassim and Sinona's attorney. Sinona accused the commission's attorneys of not furnishing him or his legal team with evidence timeously so they can prepare.
Some of the documents we received annexures on the 27th, Tuesday. This morning, we received an email of another document, of which I'm not sure I'm going to be cross-examined by that document or not. But these practices, I feel that I'm being prejudiced.
Alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Matlalala is expected to make his first appearance in the Joburg High Court today for pre-trial proceedings. Matlala, his wife Tsakane, and 3 others will be appearing on attempted murder charges linked to an alleged hit on his socialite ex-girlfriend Tebogo Tobejane. But he also faces 24 other charges, 11 of which are also attempted murder. Matlala has featured prominently in allegations of corruption at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Khomotso Modise has more.
Vusimuzi Matlalala and his wife Tsakane are accused of calling a hit on socialite and actress Tebogo Tobejane and using the services of alleged hitmen Tiego Mabusela and Musake Kana. Mabusela's daughter and Tabiseng Nzama will also join them in the dock as an accused. Matlala is accused of calling a botched hit on businessman Joe Sibanyoni in 2022 and another on musician Sienkimo Kubung, popularly known as DJ Vetis. This is Matlala's first court appearance since Correctional Services moved him from the Kgosi Mampuru prison to the country's tightest security prison, Ebongweni. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Johannesburg High Court.
The financially troubled Impendle local municipality has been given 7 days to elect a mayor. The ANC-led municipality in the KZN Midlands has again failed to pay salaries to municipal workers, including councillors. Cooperative Governance MEC Thulasizwe Buthelezi addressed the council on the crisis yesterday, demanding urgent intervention.
We have made very firm resolutions which must be followed up within 7 days, which we feel will bring stability to this municipality. As we know, there has been no mayor here since July 2025, and that is one of the major reasons why there is instability.
Buthelezi says come next week, the municipality must have elected a mayor.
We do hope that within the next 7 days, the council will take remedial action to bring back stability into this municipality, to restore order, but more importantly, to restore confidence within the community that this municipality is working for the community.
And Venezuela's military and police have pledged loyalty to interim President Delcy Rodriguez. The pledge signifies the support of a key bastion behind ousted President Nicolas Maduro. Rodriguez says walking a tight wire seeking to please both Maduro loyalists and U.S. President Donald Trump. U.S. forces snatched Maduro and his wife from their home earlier this month in a move that stunned the globe. The Maduros have been taken to New York for trial on U.S. drug trafficking charges. Gold is trading at $5,371.04 an ounce. The rand is at 15.69 to the dollar, 21.82 to the pound, 18.72 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.10 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North between the Van Buren Road exit and the Gilulis interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North leaving the Devland area. This is due to an accident reported right near the Golden Highway off-ramp, and it's still causing delays. Please be on the lookout there.
A partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng today with scattered thundershowers expected. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 27 and 30 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Emergency service teams are still working on the scene of a horrific crash in the south of Durban, which has claimed the lives of 11 people.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
They say the early bird catches the worm. Great advice, unless you're the worm.
Generic so-called wisdom doesn't work for everyone, so I settle for a financial plan that's one size fits some. Momentum accredited financial advisors take the time to get to really know your unique situation. Advice meets your context. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
It's 7 minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang. Welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. I see breaking news on the screens here. There is a new special task team that is going to be established. President Cyril Ramaphosa has directed the acting police minister to set up this new unit to probe claims that have come out of the Madlanga Commission. Remember, on the open line this morning, we were just talking about the president's inaction, the National Police Commissioner's inaction, the police minister's inaction. It's almost like they're hearing all of these shocking revelations out of the Madlanga Commission, and life continues as normal. So, at least the president is now directing that something has got to be done, because there are a number of police officers, a number of Hawks officers, including this Hawks boss, who have acted in questionable ways that could even border on criminality. And the fact that even the Minister of Police didn't think at some point that something has got to give is quite crazy for me. The Minister of Police doesn't have to wait for the Madlanga Commission to continue to finish its work and provide a complete report. Given what's come out so far, and we have seen the kind of evidence that has been presented, what would stop them from acting? Even if they act and say to these guys, just go. This is a precautionary suspension while we do further investigations, because, my goodness, more and more damage is being done as these people stay in office. But that's the latest coming from the presidency's office. There's now a new task team that the president has directed the acting minister to establish to probe these claims coming out of the Madlanga Commission. Time now for our Thursday dialogue.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's Walk the Talk on 702.
So, on our Thursday dialogue this morning, we are discussing how to make land transport safer. Or are we going to be stuck in the cycle of reaction, right? When 14 kids die and then we go, oh my God, this is crazy, we need something to be done. And then we go back to normal and we don't think about the importance of regulation anymore. We don't think about the importance of us being also heavily involved as parents in the scholar transport of our children. So we've got the Department of Transport joining us. We've got the Gauteng Education Transport Services and the National School of Governing Bodies that are going to join this conversation. I'd like you to also join in. What reforms do you think are necessary? What can government do? What can these scholar transport organizations do? What can the schools and even you as parents do? I mean, have you seen the levels of non-compliance from the operators? There were reports yesterday that the pre-test inspections have revealed that 94% of vehicles failed the test. There was a scholar transport blitz as well, an operation last week that was conducted by government officials, and that led to about 60 vehicles being impounded. And several arrests were also made because there were some drivers that were driving without permits. Some were driving unroadworthy vehicles, while others had overloaded vehicles. So what reforms do you think are necessary, and what do you think is the role you can play, or the role you already play as a parent? You can call us on 011-883-0702 to join this conversation. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Pilani Ramarutsi is the Secretary of Gauteng Education Transport Services joining us in studio. Pilani, thank you so much for making time. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and your listeners.
We also have Lisiba Mpia, who is with the Gauteng Roads and Transport. Lisiba, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Clement. Good morning to you and good morning to the listeners.
Okay, I hope that we won't be interrupted with that sound in the background, Lisiba. Yeah, if you are able to move to a much more quieter spot, I would really appreciate that. Matakanye is the Secretary General of the National School of Governing Bodies. Matakanye, thank you so much for also joining us. Hi.
Thank you very much, Clement.
Thank you for...
And your listeners.
Okay, cool. Now, let me start with you, Pilani. I was shocked to see the 94% of learner transport vehicles failing this roadworthiness test. Why are learner transport vehicles failing to comply? What is the issue?
Thank you very much, Clement. The statistics that were given yesterday by the Department of Roads and Transport, specifically the interview by Mr. Lisiba, it was related to the subsidized buses, which are contracted by the Department of Education. Because there are two services of learner transport. We have the non-subsidized, which is ourselves as Gauteng Education Transport Services. Then we'll have the subsidized buses, which are contracted by the Department of Education. So the statistics of 94% were the buses that were even shown at the background, were at the point where Mr. Lisiba was. Yes, but
then we also had the scholar transport blitz operation last week, and this is where you found that there were some drivers that were without permits, some were driving unroadworthy vehicles, and others had overloaded the vehicles.
Yes, Clement, the issue of operating licenses, it has been an issue for quite some time. I think, fortunately, the Department of Transport is here. There's a backlog of operating licenses. The department, there was a stage last year where there was a moratorium on applications of operating licenses because of the backlog. We applied in large numbers as operators. But in terms of the red tape and the requirements by the department, they were unable to issue out operating licenses to operators. And even currently, MEC gave the statistics that out of the applications that were received, there are still more than 1,000 applications that are pending to be issued. So which becomes a challenge that our members are unable to get their operating licenses because of the backlog from the department.
Okay.
And in terms of the unroadworthiness of the vehicles, I don't think we condone the unroadworthiness. We condemn it with the strongest action because the safety of learners to school is very important. We are parents as who are driving kids to school. We are becoming social workers at some stage because there's a stage where a child is in need of something, like she forgets a lunchbox at home. Then we're able to say, no, as a driver, let me provide you with something that you can buy something to eat. But then in terms of the overloading, there is a regulation 423 that specify what is the loading capacity in terms of the age groups. I think maybe also Mr. Lisiba will touch on that because it's part of the NLTA, the loading capacity in terms of the age groups of children into a vehicle.
But some of the vehicles, we saw them on television, they were overloaded.
Exactly.
So what do you do then? What action do you take as the Gauteng Education Transport Services when you see that your members are driving an on-road worthy car or they are overloading?
Yes, Clement, in terms of, we have two operators here, we have those that are not affiliated anyway, which are not guided by any rules of an organization. But as Gauteng Education Transport Services, we have a code of conduct for drivers, we have a code of conduct for owners. And part of the safety regulations that we are putting is we are complying to the regulation that is speaking on loading capacity. Those who have found, fortunately, we have found out that those are not the members who belong to Gauteng Education Transport Services.
None of your members have ever overloaded their vehicles or drive unroadworthy cars?
I might say, in terms of my view, according to our organization, we don't encourage them to do it. But you cannot regulate a behavior of a person, of an individual, because we can put up the rules, but individuals might go out of the rule and overload without even being given the mandate. But the mandate of the organization is that overloading in terms of anything that is outside the regulation, it's an offense.
So have you taken action against anyone who's overloaded or driven an unworthy car?
Yes, in terms of our members, we do. And there are disciplinary processes that we institute in terms of different associations. Remember, I'm at the provincial level. And we have 5 regions in Gauteng. And in terms of each region, we have a number of associations affiliated to the region.
So as we speak now, there are some members of your organization that you have taken action against because you found they've overloaded or they're driving unroadworthy vehicles.
Yes, there is. And they're not even getting the stickers of accreditation because we give accreditation stickers to all complying members.
Got it. Lesiba, let me bring you in here as a representative of the Roads and Transport Department. Pilani speaks about the backlog of operating licenses and the red tape. I mean, you can't argue that. That is a reality that we have seen throughout the different spheres of government. Why have you made it so difficult for these taxi associations to get their operating licenses?
Thank you for the opportunity, Clement. Let me once again greet the listeners. Look, maybe an opportunity to distinguish facts from fiction. First and foremost, there is no actual backlog in terms of scholar transport. We have a population of about 11,700 of scholar transport vehicles in the province, in as far as the process that would have done of GPDAS, which is literally digitizing, getting our information to be credible, our data to be credible with the industry. We have a population of about 11,500. The applications in the system is 1,576, which simply tells you that there's a huge chasm of the operators not coming forth and applying at the relevant authority. The misconception is that operators have been applying, but they've been taking their applications to associations. We've made the call to say you don't have to do that. As a matter of fact, we don't stop people from associating for belonging. However, there's only a single authority, which is the Department of Roads and Transport in Gauteng, that adjudicates, approves, and eventually issues operating licenses. We have 1,009 applications in the system that are at different stage gates.
Lesiba, have we lost you there? Okay. Is he muted? Okay, Lesiba, we'll try and re-establish that line with Lesiba because I really need him to come and explain a few more things. But what he's saying there, Pilani, is that there's no backlog. So, I mean, out of 11,500, why would there only be 1,500 or so applications that the department is sitting with?
I think the statistics that Mr. Lesiba is giving is not correct because they're talking about the applications that they have not issued the operating licenses on. Remember, we've not started applying for operation licenses now. From when we started the operations, we have been applying for operating licenses. There are people who applied from 2020 that still has receipts that the operating licenses has not yet been issued to them. And even the MEC confirmed the number that is talking about Lesiba is the number of operating licenses that they have not issued, that they are still in their hands. And the applicants have just long time waiting for those applications.
So your argument is no, there are other licenses they've already issued, thousands of them. What he's talking about is what's in the system now, awaiting their approval.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we've got him back on the line now. Lisiba, can you just clarify that again? Because as you've heard, Pilani says what the number you're giving us now is of the applications you are processing right now. But there are thousands more of these permits that you had approved and handed over to other drivers. Because the impression you've just created is that there's only about 1,500 or so that have applied.
Look, Clement, we are willing to share this information with the public. It's not private information. We shared it with the industry, and that is exactly what we have. And as we've said, the unintended consequence of this is that over 500 operators came to the Department of Roads and Transport. We thought that they were coming to protest. They were coming identified as marchers. But when they got there, Mr. Ramaphosa was there. They queued up and they actually wanted information on how to apply. This is more than 500 operators in a single day who come to the Department of Roads and Transport, who walked away, by the way, with application forms, with what is required from those particular application forms. And of course, yes, there's 1,009 application forms that are in the system. And part of what is an issue here is that when the department adjudicates over an application and there's document that is needed, the department will contact the applicant to say, please forward and supply this particular information. You have not given us your criminal clearance certificate. Can we have that? You've not given us, a copy of your valid ID. Please supply that. And that is part of what would delay an application over and above statutory processes that happen throughout the adjudication process.
How many permits have you issued as the department?
To this date, in terms of scholar transport, we have issued 560.
560 since
516. Yes.
Over what period?
No, over the period dating back from January 2025, we have issued 516.
But I'm talking about
to this date,
even
that is
beyond
what we have in the system.
Yes, but I'm talking about before you issued these ones. I mean, the scholar transport didn't start operating last year, did it?
Absolutely. So but you see, the issue is that the scholar transport would operate also as chartered operators. We can give that information because what we have as applicants under scholar transport, we have 1576. But in terms of them alternating between scholar transport and chartered services, that information can be made available. I don't have it currently at my disposal, but I'm giving you the facts in terms of scholar transport operators applying as scholar transport.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Matakane in a moment, but quickly, can you explain to the listeners what is the process of trying to approve their application? So before you issue out a permit, what exactly do you expect them to submit? Do they have to come to your offices? What are the papers that they need to submit? How long does it take?
The process is supposed to take nothing more than 90 days, Clement. But as I said, there are there's the legislated time frame should be nothing more than 90 days. I'm saying it should be nothing more than 90 days. But we say that there's mitigating factors that lead to delays that would take more than 30, 60 up until 90 days. So, and I've articulated those factors that constitute delays.
No, sorry, please continue. I just want you to refresh our minds about the process. I mean, what do they do? So they have to come to your offices. What do they bring with them? Do they need to bring a police clearance? Do they need to pay any money? What is required? What is part of the application process? Because part of the complaint has been that it's too rigorous, which is why you're not going to get some people complying because they have to come queue. How long does it take for them to be at your offices? Then they must go to the police station to get a police clearance. Okay, fine. But is your offices ready also with their systems, or are they constantly sending them back and forth? That is a complaint that has also come from some of these drivers, which is why I'm trying to understand the process of getting a permit.
Look, it has to be rigorous. I mean, just yesterday we arrested someone who supplied us with fraudulent face value document. So the process has got to be extremely above board, and ensure that it ticks all the boxes. Yes, they must pay a minimum fee of 600 rands per application. They have got to supply the valid documents of the vehicle. The vehicle has got to have roadworthy tests, that indeed the vehicle is roadworthy and is fit and proper for the road. The driver himself has got to furnish us with a valid driver's license, including a valid professional driver's permit. They've got to give us a route plan, and they can easily download it from their tracking devices, over and above, just articulating from point B up to the last point, how do I travel? So this is important information, and yes, unfortunately, it might be sounding tedious, but it's information that as a Department of Transport, we insist of having it. Part of what has not been coming forth is liability indemnity insurance coming from the operators of scholar transport operators, and that has not been coming forth. So that is part of the information that we have got to have, because in case of an incident, there's got to be insured passengers in that vehicle.
No, true. And of course, the system has to be rigorous because these people are transporting kids, but you don't want to make it too laborious to a point where there's just unnecessary red tape that makes it difficult for people to actually, that it just doesn't incentivize them to come and comply, because that is the thing. When you make the system too laborious, people just don't think they're going to waste their time to come and comply. Matakanye, let me bring you in here. What role do you think you can play as, school governing bodies? I mean, there are often informal arrangements between parents and operators. Should schools be playing a bigger role in vetting and approving scholar transport operators?
Clement, madume hafe matsidiso hafele. We continue to say South Africans, because these children are ours. And I'm disturbed, Clement, that adults here in your platform are debating the issues where else our children are dying in the street. And I don't know how really do they feel, because I hear parents here from association, I hear a parent from road and transport arguing that you do not do this, you do that, you're supposed to be doing this. And whilst they are doing this, our children are continuously dying in the street of South Africa.
Yeah, okay, so hold on,
now, it is disturbing me a lot.
I don't think they're arguing. We're having a conversation here about what is a crisis in this country. How do you get to solutions? You get to solutions by having conversations, and this is part of having the solution. This is part of getting to a solution, which is why I'm asking you, as the school governing bodies, what do you think the solution is? Could you be playing a bigger role?
The school governing bodies are the representative of the parents, the communities, and we made a call through the school governing bodies that all parents whose children are transported by taxis or buses, they must refuse to allow their children to get into an overcrowded a bus or a taxi. They must refuse to allow their children to get into a taxi, a bus that is not roadworthy, as much as they might not know whether this bus or this taxi is roadworthy. And hence, that's where the school governing body comes in. To say, school governing body, craft a policy that will bring the stakeholders together, the community, the parents, the roads, the transport and road department, as well as the associations together, so that when we suspect at school level that this taxi seems not to be roadworthy, the driver does not have papers and all those things, then we are in the position to immediately sensitize the law enforcers to come and check this taxi, to come and check the drivers.
Okay.
And we're
Okay. I'm going to get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines, and then we'll come back and I'll give Lisiba, Matakani, and Pilani more opportunities to respond to what are the potential solutions. I want to hear from you as well. You can send us a WhatsApp or give us a call. We'll start with your WhatsApps and calls after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. In Bali, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. We begin with breaking news. President Cyril Ramaphosa has instructed the SAPS to establish a special task team to probe some of those identified at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. This follows a recommendation contained in the Commission's 3-month interim report. The Commission has recommended investigations into the conduct of 5 senior SAPS members and 9 Ekurhuleni municipal officials. In a statement this morning, Ramaphosa says the task team will report to National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola. KZN Hawks boss Lesija Sinono claims that he is being prejudiced at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Sinono is testifying before the Commission in Pretoria for a 3rd day today, but before his cross-examination could resume this morning, he requested to address the Commission. Action SA says it will abstain from the vote of no confidence against Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero today. Morero is facing another Al Jamaa-sponsored no confidence motion in the City Council. The party believes Morero is failing to improve service delivery. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 12 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you. Amo?
Well, Clement, we've got delays in the Amalgam area along the M2 West between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. There's also queuing traffic along Park Drive as well as Crownwood Road, so please be on the lookout there. While travelling on the M1 North, we've got some delays right at the double-decker section approaching Car Street. There's also queuing traffic in Parktown along Empire Road. An accident has been reported along this route. It is right near Al Street, causing some issues there. And then if you're traveling on the N3 North in the Bedfordview area, we still have got some delays reported. This is between the Van Buren Road exit and the Kilulis interchange. Please continue driving with care. That's your last update from me, Amo Ramela. Stay tuned for more.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's Carl de Koza here in another Carl de Koza production starring Carl de Koza and Cars.Koza. In this country, we don't just drive cars, we love cars.
If you got 4 wheels and it says great,
So slide into our DMs on WhatsApp and let's find what moves you.
Cars.Koza.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Interesting part that I need education about is the singling out of Iran as this deeply rogue state. I know that they don't necessarily shoot out the lights in terms of their human rights history. The United States of America has a rogue agency shooting people in the streets. Are they worse than China? China's human rights record is scary. Everybody's friends with China. Show me who we are comparing Iran with when we say say that they have a horrific human rights record.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Join the Department of Human Settlements, government and industry leaders, innovators and visionaries at the Summit on Innovative Building Technologies, where cutting-edge solutions are shaping sustainable, inclusive and resilient human settlements. Tune in to 702 on the 3rd of February, broadcasting live at the Nasrec Expo Center, Johannesburg, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Visit dhs.gov.za for more. The Department of Human Settlement, Houses and Security and Comfort.
30-year-old Dineo knows all about saving on her car insurance with Outsurance.
I'm saving 1,094 rands.
That's an unbelievable 1,094 rand monthly saving on Dineo's 2025 Kia Sonet. And she'll get an out bonus.
If I'm claim-free for 3 years, then I get an out bonus back.
Ready to see how much money Outsurance could save you? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Progress builds, it moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo-American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa, with a 1 billion rand investment into education in our host communities. 1.6 billion rand in deals facilitated through our Impact Finance Network, and 25.9 billion rand invested through our Kumba Iron Ore business into areas such as infrastructure development, healthcare, community upliftment, and more. Proving that when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. South Africa has a partner. Anglo-American. Mining potential, building beyond.
You keep your brain trained like a well-oiled machine.
Now it's time to put your brain in the game, because the brain of 702 is back. With your chance to flex your general knowledge smarts.
In which country is the famous statue Christ the Redeemer?
Enter now on PrimeMediaPlus.com. Then catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa and 702 Drive with John Perlman. There's 3,000 rand up for grabs every day. Brain of the Week wins 10,000 rand and a spot in the finals to compete for the title of the Brain of 702 and an awesome 30,000 rand cash on 702. TCs and more on PrimeMediaPlus.com.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's walk the talk on 702.
It's 22 minutes before 12 o'clock on our Thursday Dialogue this morning. We're talking about learner transport. How do we make it more safer? Or are we going to be stuck in this cycle of reaction where stuff happens and there's tragic accidents and we are all outraged, and the Department of Transport will implement these, scholar transport compliance blades. But then what happens when the momentum shifts and the media attention goes away? Can we sustain these random inspections? I've got some calls coming through and WhatsApps. I'll get to them in a moment. I just want to give Pilani an opportunity to respond to what Lisiba was saying earlier on. Pilani, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Clement. I think Lisiba is also contradicting what the MEC is saying. In terms of the permit application or operating license applications, the department requires us as operators to apply before we operate. But now the contradiction comes where they say you must specify a route that you are working in. You must also get a letter from the school that you are operating from. That's contradiction, because they say you can't operate before you get the permit. So they're encouraging us. Actually, they don't even have a sense of self-contradiction, because you cannot tell us to apply and work after. But in the interim, part of the legislation or requirements is for you to get a learner list. Where do you get those learners from? Because you have not started operating. So we don't understand. I think they must clarify.
Is that a document you must present when you apply for a permit?
Yes.
As to this is where I'm getting the learners from.
They say you must give a learner list and a contract with the parents. That's what the department say, and the MEC have said that before you start operating, you must have a contract with the school and a contract with the parents. Which parents are those? Because you have not started operating. So that contradiction, I think it must be clarified. And on the issue of the parents, I think that the Matagani must play a better role in terms of parent involvement in the scholar transport. Most of the parents, they don't even know the transport of their kids. That is an instance where you find missing children because the parent will just send out the child, even not watching or looking at the transport that is picking up the child. So there's more negligence from the side of the parents in terms of their children's safety. So we're urging the parents also as Gauteng Education Transport Services, because our members, we are encouraging them to sign the contract with the parents. And for a parent to be able to, for us to be able to admit a child in our transport, a parent must sit down with the owner and draft the contract so that there are areas of engagement that they are doing. But as parents, most of the parents are not doing that. And we're encouraging also school governing bodies to make sure that we are discussing children's safety. The parking bays at the schools, they must dedicate a specific loading bay for the transport of scholar transport. Because when we pick up children from the street, it becomes difficult for us to identify them, and it is at the risk of them crossing the street, going on the other side to go into their transport. So for them to board the transport, let the SGB create a space within the school premises or within the school grounds for us to be able to load the children within the precinct of the school, not outside the school premises. I think that's the role that the SGBs can also assist us in playing on the safety of the children.
All right, Lisiba, I'll come to you in a moment. Let's take some calls. Adrian, you are in Benoni. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you for the show. I just wanted to highlight a few things. We must take into consideration that this whole system is broken. It's not, there's so many role players here. We can talk about permits and whatever, but in terms of policing that permits, who's responsible for that? That's the police. But as you know, with the commissions, the crime intelligence head came out the other day and said 90% of the police in Gauteng are corrupt. So how are we expecting them to police people who got the permits but not adhering to the permits? Those are the things. And meanwhile, these kids are just dying. A couple months back, 6 to 8 months back, 2 kids passed away here on the N12 highway using one of these illegal transports. They were sitting in the back of these benches with the makeshift bench. The car hit them from the back and they died. We did the same thing we're doing now. We're making noise, we're talking, we're saying a lot of things. The department came out and said a lot of things. But what happened? Nothing.
Yeah.
Now we fast forward a few months later and 14 kids or 13 kids have passed away again. Yeah. We're talking a whole lot of things and nothing will happen. We're going to keep
quiet until there's a next tragic accident. You're right, Adrian. And in fact, let me get Lisiba to respond to that. Lisiba, because, as the Transport Department, you've been conducting these inspections in the last week and the results have just been shocking to us. These inspections are, of course, one way to improve scholar transport safety and enforce compliance. But what happens when the momentum shifts? What happens when there's no longer media attention? Because often we see a gradual return to business as usual. So what needs to change structurally to break this cycle once and for all?
Look, Clement, I think we must just appreciate the role of the media all across. That when the media is apologies about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that when there's a media presence, there definitely is a situation where we tell the story better. We must be able to say to ourselves that there are instances where we have been, doing these operations as far back as Feb, and the industry knows. You know that even last year we lost about 11 kids in Carltonville, and even before that, the department has been, conducting these particular operations. What we were able to do in the interim is to tighten the issue of law enforcement, and that is why the MEC would have signed an MOU with the RTMC to actually increase the force multiplication particularly in Gauteng. So we have a team called the Gauteng Transport Inspectorate, and one of the things I think as government that we must accede to is the fact that if there is no law enforcement, we definitely have culpability. because we have a duty as government to ensure that we enforce the law. And that is why we're saying to the industry, enforcing of the law is non-negotiable. And I must also just respond to Mr. Ramarudza that there's no contradiction. I might have left out those specific issues that the MEC has been calling for, but it is already in the current legislation that they must submit also a contract between themselves and the parent. What we are calling for is further support from the SGPs and the schools, that the schools must be able to give the operators a letter of endorsement. What we want from the operator with the vehicle every time it is on the road is a list of the learners as well as contact details of the parents. Let me just say this. It is not the department, it's the National Land Transport Act. It is the law that says that before you are able to purchase that vehicle, you must be able to make application. Before you drive and you are licensed to drive, you must have an application of a learner's license and ultimately pass an application as a driver. I'm just making that as a, paraphrasing that as an example. So it is what the law requires. It's not a department. The department is merely just enforcing the law.
And to be clear, of course, Lisiba, I mean, laws, there's a reason why laws get to be amended, right? Because sometimes there's a realization that they're simply not working. So laws are not a be-all and all. I'm putting that point because I'm failing to understand how you expect the drivers to have a learner list before they even operate. They must have contracts with the parents before they even start driving, before they even buy the vehicle. How? That doesn't make sense.
There is a distinction between what has existed and tightening the regulations, tightening how. I mean, we're here discussing what can be done to actually make the situation safer. And this is a conversation we're having with the scholar transport operators who are already in existence, by the way, to say that, do you have a list of the learners in your car? And that's exactly what we require. The
list of learners when they're operating, we're talking about when they're applying for a permit, right? Where do they get the list when they haven't already started operating? Because they must get the permit first before they operate. Where do they get a contract with a parent when they have not started operating because they're still applying for a permit?
Look, Clement, we're having a conversation with people who are already operating. I mean, Mr. Ramarudza should be honest. We are not having a conversation with people who are not yet operating.
But your regulations are about people. Your regulations are about people who want a permit which must be gotten before they operate. No.
Yes, absolutely.
So how could you expect them to have things?
That is not the end all. That is not the end all and be all, Clement. We are saying as part of what must build up to their application are those prerequisites. But if they can be, because we are going to end up saying, it's fine, don't bring in your subs criminal certification or your, that is what we are going to do.
No, nobody says that.
We are going to meet.
That nobody says that. Of course, it's important that they bring that. But you can't have laws that do not make sense, because I can tell you, you're going to sit with the same problem in 10 years' time. It happens all over. That's why even the president has realized that we've got a red tape in our government. That is not helping us in terms of doing business. It doesn't help with bringing in people who want to work together with government. You've got red tape, some of which doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense. You're expecting people to comply with the law, but you're making it difficult. Now I must go get parents I don't even know to sign a contract with me just so that I can get a permit. That's what you're going to have. You're going to have parents who go and have fictitious contracts with parents because they just want to get a permit. They're going to go get lists of learners that don't even exist just so that they can actually get the permit. So it doesn't help to have laws that simply do not make sense. It's 10 minutes before 12 o'clock. We'll come back with more of your calls and WhatsApps.
At Isuzu, we know every delivery, every kilometer, and every load is building something bigger. This truck month, set your business up for success with special deals across the Isuzu N and F-Series ranges. Don't get left behind. Speak to your Isuzu truck specialist or call 08600 Isuzu and secure your truck month deal today. Isuzu, with you for the long run. T's and C's apply.
The heat is back in the Celebrity MasterChef kitchen, and this is where legends were made. This Sunday, rewind to the moments that shook the judges as local celebrities Danny Dutoit, Sinoyola Sfiso, and Dino Ranaka step up with everything on the line. Big personalities, bigger pressure, one wrong move, and it's goodbye apron. If you think you remember how this played out, think again. Catch the episode everyone still talks about this Sunday at 6 p.m. only on ATV.
At Checkers, 2026 is better with over 1,500 deals. Like Clover Butro Full Cream Modified Butter Spread, 500 grams for $79.99, save 20 Rand. Nestle Mini Chocolate Fun Bags, any 2 for 89 Rand, save 45 Rand. And Finish Dishwasher Tablets, 45, 50 or 56 per pack for $229.99, save 55 Rand. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
702 is in conversation with Capitec, discussing how South Africans can protect themselves against financial crime.
So firstly, let's look at the red flags that you need to watch out for. Prices significantly lower than similar listings. In the case of accommodation, no in-person viewing allowed. And typically excuses like I'm traveling or I've relocated or there are people in the accommodation at the moment, I can't take you there. Pressure tactics is a favorite. I have another 3 buyers ready to pay. You need to pay now. Or deposit required immediately into a personal bank account. That's very often also another big trigger and red flag. New or empty profile with little activity. And then these perfectly looking photos. Often they're stolen from real listings. And then for accommodation, often there's a refusal to do a live video walk through the property.
Slam the scam with Capitec. Capitec is an authorized financial services provider and registered credit provider.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's walk the talk on 702.
8 minutes before 12. Easy Kennedy Tabo, I see you. I'll come to you in a moment. Matakanye, let me just get your thoughts on the support SGBs need from government. Do you think, what kind of support do you think you need as SGBs from government to prevent these unsafe transport before more and more lives are lost?
Thank you once more, Clement. The support that we need from the government and from all people involved in transporting our children is that whatever they do, they must consider safety. So government must ensure that they provide the transport that is roadworthy. The government must ensure that all these cars that are carrying our children are roadworthy, and their drivers have got proper papers, and they also have permit to carry children and ensure that our children are not cramped.
Tabo, you calling us from False Loras. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, listening to the guys, and it's really frustrating because, first of all, the MEC, he denies that there's a backlog in terms of his operating license. And for me, specifically, I applied for my license, I think it was 2003, November. I only received it.
So it took what? It took 2 years for you to get your license?
To get my Scholar Patrol license, yes. Therefore, when I went to the offices, they used to tell me that there's a backlog, there's a backlog, come back after 3 months, there's a backlog. I kept on just going there until I received my operating license. But the other problem is, maybe on this whole topic, we really need a serious dialogue because there's a lot of stakeholders involved. Because you've got parents, you've got the government body, you've got the schools. Because in the schools where I deliver the kids, you find that there's nobody who receives this kid Therefore, nobody sees exactly what is happening, whether I've got an overload, whether my car is roadworthy. Nobody, you understand, nobody is monitoring this.
Yeah, or you could have an overload and no one is even seeing that. Yeah, Tabo, I hear you. Thank you for your call in False Lawrence. Easy, you're in Midrand. Hi.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
Sure, go ahead, brother. Good.
Good. Just a quick one. Look, Clement, in as much as I appreciate that government could have done better, the authorities could have done better, the SGB and the taxi owners, but there's a different perspective that I want to introduce here. You see, and I'm saying this as a parent, I feel that at one point as parents we are failing our kids. As parents, we're failing to take accountability. Who's giving business to these scrap metals masquerading as taxis? Isn't it us as parents? Surely as parents, other things are so obvious to us, they are so obvious to a naked eye. You could see that this car is forever loaded. You don't need a traffic officer to point out that this particular vehicle is overloaded. You need a law enforcement agency or a traffic officer to tell that this is a scrap metal which belongs to the scrap yard.
Yeah. Easy in Midrand. Thank you so much. I'm completely out of time, but thank you to my guests. I think these conversations are important and we must continuously help them. Lesiba Mpia, Matakanyane, and Pilani Ramarustsi. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Okay, truck 7, that has 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without MyWay's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. MyWay. Live your way.
Every man deserves a view framed by excellence. See the world in luxury with the Bogart Man sunglasses. Made for confidence, built for distinction. And now, you can win a pair of your own. Just follow @BogartMan Official on all platforms. Post your Bogart-inspired look that needs a pair of Bogart Man shades and tag us, because true style doesn't shout, it speaks quietly with power. Bogart Man. Enough said. T's and C's apply.
Hollywood Bets invites you to take the lead. The sizzling summer competition is giving you a chance to bask in horse racing glory and blaze into red-hot rewards. Bet 50 Rand or more on horse racing online or at your nearest branch and you could win a share of 1 million Rand in prizes. Enjoy a star-studded lineup of equestrian events this summer and settle up for a season of success. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
702 was in conversation with the Mine Workers Investment Company, celebrating 3 decades of empowering mine workers and their families through smart, sustainable investment.
Through the JB Marks Education Fund, we have more than 2,200 graduates that have gone through the program and graduated across various fields of study. As we speak, JB Marks has approximately 700 students at any point in time in their system. We've also touched lives through the Mine Workers Development Agency, which does social upliftment projects for communities that mine workers come from. So predominantly your labor sending areas of South Africa and our neighboring countries. And they have touched more than 1 million lives through social upliftment programs, agricultural programs, food security programs, and SMME programs.
Visit mic.co.za today to learn more. Celebrating 30 years of the MIC on 702.
Coming up on the Midday Report.
Coming up next, Jane Dutton in for Mendy Winner. How are you doing, Jane?
Very good, thank you. Equally frustrated as you are that there's another task team to investigate, but hopefully this will expose what we need to have exposed. I mean, the fact that that we're seeing names for the first time. I know there was a lot of pressure, public pressure, media pressure to get those names down. So we've got Vincent Magwenya to come in, the President's spokesperson, to tell us what that's all about. And then we're also going to be talking about illegal road racing, which is happening in Joburg and in Cape Town. It's people can't sleep at night. It's illegal. It's dangerous. People have been killed, and yet nothing gets done about it.
All right, that's the midday report with Jane Dutton in for Mendy. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow between 9 and 12. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. We begin with breaking news this hour. President Cyril Ramaphosa has instructed the SAPS to establish a special task team to probe some of those identified at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. This follows a recommendation contained in the Commission's 3-month interim report. The